Mm.
Nothing. No, it's not. So when it goes, it won't let me
Oh.
connect to the internet and the Bluetooth and
That's a good point to bring up.
Are you recording
Okay,
now?
so
Yes.
Megan,
Not without her?
Megan is going to do a presentation. That's really kind of going to be our first thing.
I mean, if we're gonna go 500% on
You both
fees,
are on
that-
and we haven't started the meeting yet.
Well, that's good. Or we would be in violation. We're on? Okay, hi, everyone. Sorry for the delay. We had some IT issues. This is a meeting of the Nantucket Historic District Commission. I forget what today's date is, March 3rd. And everyone is present either on Zoom or live, with the exceptions of Stephen Welch and Joe Paul. So for those of you in the room, the state requires you all to be polite. And for those on Zoom, you should be polite too. And then with that, we're going to go to, I'd like to get an approval for the agenda with the following. We're going to, basically, we're going to strike, we're going to hold all the old business under January 27th, which would be one application at 7 Orange and I believe 3 applications at Vestal Street at 85 Vestal. So those are all being held for the next meeting or whenever they come up again. So whoever does the motion would do a motion that would basically say to hold those particular applications.
so moved.
Thank you. Let's see, we'll do everyone at the table, including Connie. All those in favor, say aye.
Hi.
There it goes, that passes. Okay, now we're on to public hearing regarding the HTC fee schedule. You know what? Sorry, I'm off. Now I'm on. Sorry for those of you that missed all that. Okay, so the first thing for review is a new fee schedule, which I believe you all have a copy of. Megan has worked through this. I believe you're going to give us a little, tell us all about it, and then we're going to vote it through or have questions, whatever. So Megan, the mic is yours.
Mr. Chair, you have
Yeah.
to first open the public hearing.
Ah, I knew I was going to forget. So how do I do that?
Open the public hearing and this collective vote, just do a roll call vote. 'cause
No, you don't
So-
need to vote
Jeremy's-
to open the public hearing. The public hearing you just say is now open.
Okay, never mind.
Okay?
I just say that?
Yep, the
Once we
public
vote.
hearing is
So
now
the
open.
public hearing is now open. Okay, so now can Megan speak?
Yes.
Okay, Megan,
Um,
thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here today. So what we're looking at is a proposed update to your current fee schedule. It's been about a decade since this was last updated. Plus and other departments have been working in consultation with the finance director on updating fee schedules townwide. So within Plus, we recently updated the planning board fee schedule, the zoning board of appeals fee schedule, and now the last regulatory board in our department is HDC. So we, as staff, went through and did an analysis with the finance director, took a look at what other similar communities throughout the Commonwealth were charging for similar type applications. That's how we arrived at some of these recommendations. Something to keep in mind when you're evaluating your fee schedule townwide, you can't charge more than what it costs for staff time to put in to review that. So that is everything from processing your application to overhead and running the building. So that's kind of how we arrived at these numbers for your consideration. And that's kind of it in a nutshell. So if you have any questions, I'm here. And if you have public comment, you'll have to take that too, because it is a public hearing.
Great, thank you, Meg. Val, looks like you have a question.
I do. Where is the category for work that's done without any sort of approval?
Work without a permit, the 10 times fee. Where is that listed currently? Because it's not on the fee schedule.
Well, it should be.
Okay, well, we
I
can
definitely
add that.
think it should be.
We can add that to the fee schedule so that
Yeah.
it's transparent. If you want to keep it 10 times the fee, that's fine. Building does 4 times the fee, so that would be at your discretion on how you want to either maintain or update that, recognizing, these fees are being increased. So, depending on the scope of work, maybe that is or is not appropriate.
The issue that I have with the, whatever 10 times the fee is unless it's a new building, $50 for a fence or whatever would be $500. That's chump change. Or $1,000 if it was 100. I feel like the fine should have a bigger number.
So Val, right now, the fee for a demo of a house is 100, and then 10 times is 1,000. It's gonna be increased to 500, so that'll be 5,000. But as far as increasing it higher than that, Megan, will we have to have another public hearing to increase it higher?
No, because the public hearing's been advertised, that's within the scope. But I would still caution that, yes, it's supposed to be a penalty, but it's a bit of a balancing act going back to that overall staff time, right? That you're putting towards processing these applications.
I just think the number's so low that
I'm going to interject, and I believe Angus had a very similar question. Do you want to
Oh,
opine?
thank you. I was gonna ask about the as-built fee is how we refer to it. When something is already done and they're coming back in to sort of follow up with the paperwork. So there wasn't a line item for that. And so, but it looks like everything is going up 500%. So
Mhm.
I would hope that it'll go at least the same rate.
Right.
Can I ask you a question? Thank you, Angus. It almost seems like there's, Megan, you had said that this is really based on, kind of more or less the amount of labor that's required to do each one of these tasks, and that we can't really exceed that. So that kind of, to my mind, goes outside of the domain of application fee and gets into a punitive fee. Is that a town thing? That when we're able to charge X number of dollars a day for the infraction, is that in the HDC or town?
That's through our town code through Mass General Laws, and that's through our town code through Mass General Law and through our citation process through the district court.
Right.
That's a different fee structure and a different.
Well, I guess maybe there's an opportunity to separate them so that we're still covered, albeit we're not, transgressing the rules that you just described for the
Yeah.
application. It's like getting a $500 speeding ticket isn't $500 for the policeman to stop you and write the
Right.
ticket out. It's punitive. So is that something that can be handled elsewhere?
I think what maybe I'd recommend is that we take a look at this fee schedule, right, for the application. I can go back, talk to Leslie, talk to town council, see if we can attack the as-built fee from maybe a different angle and kind of handle that separately.
Sounds like we might have to,
Mhm.
given what you just said. Val,
another comment.
sure.
What about the time it takes for town council to sit through a select board meeting when people are arguing with us about doing something
Ooh.
without a permit? I mean, what does he charge an hour?
I think we're getting into
Weeds.
we have to look at it more broadly.
Yeah,
I have one more.
yeah.
So when considering this too, I think obviously the punishment needs to be connected to the crime. If you're painting a different color, that's different than demolishing a house or something. So there would have to be some sort of schedule with that.
In your opinion, Megan, can we vote through, first of all, do we all agree that the raising of the fees to the spot? I certainly do.
Yeah.
Long time coming. Do we all agree that we can approve of the fee structure that's been put together, that's on the table right now?
Mm.
And we can vote on that, get that clear, and then just if you could do some further investigation in terms of the penalty type things that
Absolutely.
we would like to impose.
Mr. Chair, through you to Megan, do we keep the public hearing open then in that
No,
case?
it's a
Okay.
separate, it'll be a separate thing. We can re-advertise once I have more information. So we
Alright.
can close this matter
Okay.
today and move that
Gotcha.
process forward.
Okay.
Okay,
I, I would make a motion to adopt the new fee schedule. Should I make that contingent on a date of activity?
Yeah,
or
so
what is that?
Kathy, if you pull up I forget what the date is, but it was in the notice. I think there was a few cycles of new business meetings just to get people
used to it.
familiarized with the new schedule.
Oh, effective June 1st.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll add that to the motion effective June 1st.
Okay, great. Once again, I'm going to use the people at the table just for now. All those in favor of Angus's motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, great. Thank you so much, Megan. Nice seeing you.
thank you guys. Have a good
Um,
one.
All right, so now is Q&A for Holly. Do we have anything that we want to discuss in the time that she's here? That includes you, Carrie.
And Mr. Chair, I'll be here for a while, so you've
Okay.
got some
All right, well,
important stuff just before you,
let's-
but if there's any questions, I'm here.
All right. Thank you, Holly. Let's wing it then. Okay, so as I mentioned before, old business of January 27th, including 7 orange and 85 Vestal applications are being held, which means that we are now moving forward to old business of February 10th. First item of which is 1 Paul Govett Lane. And for that, the glamorous Abby Camp will be chairing. Let's see, do you have, oh, and we have Ben.
I don't think she's here.
I think she is.
Hi, Ben.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good.
You've got the, what's it called? The mic,
Okay.
got the,
What about our board?
oh, our board, okay. Let's see what we have here. We have myself, we have Val, and we have Angus, Connie, and Paul's not. Is Paul here?
He's not.
He's not, okay.
I
So
would use Carrie.
is Carrie here?
Carrie is on. Yeah.
Carrie, can you sit in on this one?
Yes.
I'll give it. Okay, thank you. Proceed.
Great. So it's been a couple weeks since we last looked at this. But last time we met, this is a new dwelling on this lot. You previously approved the move off or demolish of the existing dwelling and the relocation of the existing shed. To refresh your memory, this is Paul Govett Lane down in Brant Point area. We are in a floodplain, and Art Gasparo was nice enough to provide the floodplain certificate. So that's check off the checklist. At the time of the first review, I think it felt like we were very much going in the right direction. The house is very much in keeping with the existing house that's there. Like I said at that initial meeting, this was started as a renovation project, but made more sense to go into new construction due to the floodplain and other issues with the existing dwelling. But at that first meeting, the concerns were, there was 2 major concerns. One was the front door. Should I keep going, or is this technical difficulty?
We're having like problem again.
Oh.
Oh,
Sorry.
Those buttons are moving in.
Would you like me to keep going? Mr.
Yeah, keep going.
So the 2 major design issues at that first initial meeting were on the front elevation. The front door was very much hidden. It was not obvious. It was in a very narrow porch, only being able to be seen kind of from Pog of it. And the reason for that was at that time, we were under the impression that we were required a 10-foot setback on Jefferson. Art Gasparo reviewed that piece of information, and it is actually to our advantage that we are actually allowed a 5-foot setback on Jefferson now. So we were able to put the front door on the front of the building and a stoop that wouldn't impede with our front yard setback. So now the house has very much a front door a presence on Jefferson, and very much more in keeping with, our standards of design. The other major concern or feedback we got from that initial meeting was on the rear of the building. We had a very large quad sliding door that was on the second floor balcony. And we have since replaced that with a French door with 2 flanking windows. So that, I think, is a pretty obvious improvement to what we had before. Lastly, there was a couple more minor concerns or hopes for the revisions, and that was mostly on the Paul Govett side. I believe it's the east elevation. And that was to create some break in the second floor massing so that there would be a full gable form, and then the preceding eave line, which we've been able to accomplish. And then also that there was a kind of an odd roof treatment on the first floor, the way the hip roof came up. There was a little like ridge like piece that Angus was very focused on, which we've also resolved. And we've also set back the second floor balcony edge just inside of the corner board of that gable so that it's not so much right on the edge there. Again, Angus made that comment. So hopefully those changes resolved any concerns you had before, and I'm open to hear your feedback.
Thank you, Ben. Anybody want to? Oh, Holly Bacchus.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So as Ben mentioned, this is Resilient Nantucket FEMA AE8. We did receive the elevation certificate. Thank you for that, Ben. This is an increase of a 4-foot elevation, which is actually a consistent within your design guidelines. A streetscape actually would be very helpful for this structure, and it's elevated, and there's other structures around it that are not and are contributing. The board had concerns with the increased fenestration on the east. I'm not too sure if that change within adding the flanking 6/6 double hung windows adequately addresses that your concerns. There seems to be a lot of glazing, but appreciate changing the front entry to the front of the gable and removing the negative mass, as it's not recommended within building with Nantucket in mind. The gable forward should be more pronounced and proud of that 1-story left mass. So again, my recommendation would be, because it would be helpful for your review, a streetscape as outlined within Resilient Nantucket. Thanks.
Thank you, Holly.
Oh, and I did want to mention, you all did receive a Butters comments, and I don't know if he's on the Zoom, but there were concerns. Okay, he's actually in the Zoom.
Oh, when do we hear that, the neighbor comments?
He hasn't raised his hand yet, but if you would, oh, now he has.
Peter Ernst, would you like to talk on this application?
No, I think I'm unmuted now. Thank you. This is Peter Ernst on behalf of the owner of 22, 24, 26 Jefferson. Through the chair, we have a question and a request. We're curious to know the height of the dwelling that has been demolished or removed, the existing dwelling. And we understand that the proposed height of ridge above final finish grade is 29 feet. We're curious to know if the height of the new dwelling can be no higher than the height of the existing dwelling. And that's the comment. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Peter. Do you have that information, Ben? Like what it was originally, the existing?
The existing building height, I don't know it off the top of my head. It didn't meet floodplain, so I can tell you that it was normal construction. So we're not exactly, if we're talking about finished grade to ridge, it's not really apples to apples because we are forced to go up. First floor to ridge on the existing building is at 25 feet and change. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head.
I think that there was something in our letter that said that that what you had designed plus the 4 feet made it 29.
And that's right.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay. So
But in change, I don't quote me on the exact
Right.
29, but it's
Right.
on the plan. It's on this elevation.
Right, but I
somewhere.
think we also got a letter, or maybe it was in your notes, Holly, about that it combined came to now 29 feet.
Yes, Madam Chair, you are
oh.
correct.
Okay, so board members,
I'll go.
thank you, Val.
So there are things I really appreciate about this. Ben is keeping the general character and feeling of the house that was there. And unfortunately, we're not in control of this raising over flood level. So I don't know what else you could do unless you change the character of the house completely to something that's like one story, and you'd lose that familiar architecture. So I think he's done a good job. The building from first floor to the top of the roof is not even 25 feet, and then you have to add the 4 for the flood. So that's all I got. I feel for the neighbors. I understand it. It's gonna be weird. Everybody's houses are gonna be doing this, but we have no control over that.
Thank you, Val. Connie or Angus?
I can go.
Okay, thank you.
So I appreciate the work that's been done on this so far, and the front door having been more pronounced, I think is more successful. Although the only thing with that is that it's right on the front, which makes sense, but the style I think of more on the smaller streets in closer to the core rather than out Jefferson with the stoop and then the door on the face of a gable like this. I'm thinking more like there would be a porch or some kind of way to make that transition. And I think what makes it more pronounced is just the required height increase to get the floor above the floodplain. So I'm not sure exactly what the answer is, if it is to put a porch on that front side, if you've got the clearance for it. There's a squiggly line in the site plan. And I couldn't quite tell if that was for vegetation or not, but I think that would help mitigate, this sort of high stoop. Through the chair to the applicant, is that line in the site plan, is that intended vegetation that's between the street and the house?
Yeah, so there's an existing swath of vegetation along Jefferson that is not my client's property, and we have no intention of clearing. So existing, there's quite a bit of scrubbiness along Jefferson that we have no intention of clearing, and technically can't because it's not on our property. So the house does kind of existing have quite a bit of a hug of vegetation around it, and we don't plan to change that, nor can we, because it's not our property.
Thank you. So the concerns that I still have lingering is that the original structure, I feel like you've been true to keeping the outlines of the original gables, but because of the infill, some of the recesses back from the faces of these gables, where they were 6 or 8 feet, or at least 4 feet, have been reduced to 6 inches. And my concern is about the articulation of these gables. And the other piece that I'm concerned about is the east elevation. I appreciate the 4 French doors going to 2 windows and 2 doors, but what we're seeing over the rail is still glass, still double doors and then double windows. And so I would be looking for more shingle space between doors and windows, just to break it up so that it's just not like that stretch of glass. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Angus. Connie, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm all set. I do appreciate the changes, and I do feel like you tried to keep the character from the original house as much as possible. And you know, given that it has to be raised, I think your hands are tied with the height. And I feel going forward, we'll probably see, you know, more of that as people come and, you know, have to do the same thing. So I think you did a good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Carrie?
Um, Thanks. I appreciate the consistency of the character from this building to the original. I do take a little bit of issue with such a consistent ridge height on every single ridge, with the gables facing each direction and they all are the same height. I think a little bit of hierarchy in maybe the main gable forward, and then the eave line, somehow giving a variation of that, because it just seems sort of a lot more monolithic than the original structure, because it is kind of doubling in size almost, it seems. I agree with everybody else on the window issues, and that's about it. Thanks.
Thank you, Carrie. So I agree with a lot of what's been said, mainly the gable coming a little more forward so it doesn't seem sort of contrived. Agree with Carrie about the consistent heights of all the massing. But my main concern was, I guess it's always looked a little generic. I would like to see, you know, down there in the dunes and near the jetties and cliffside, more of a summer house feel, more summer house. And I think that goes to Angus's porch idea. And I think the front door is a bit formal for that area. If that could be, if you come up with an idea to make that a little less formal, I think it would fit into the neighborhood a little bit more. And also the east elevation with the fenestration of glass, if that could be reduced. I think that was it in a nutshell. Do I hear a motion for?
I would make a motion for some revisions, just addressing the lingering concerns and yeah.
Okay, on Angus's motion, Connie.
Aye.
Val,
I guess so. I
Carrie,
Aye.
Angus on your motion?
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Abby. It does look like you're chairing the next one too.
Okay.
Now, I'll just say for Val's sake and for yours that it is a 4-person board. Would be a 4-person board without Stephen
So it's Abby, Angus, Carrie, and
no, no.
and
Johnny?
Connie. No, Connie's
can
on,
you-
but that's 4
oh,
people.
Patton. There. 4 people. Okay. Valerie.
Val? You good moving forward with 4? Okay. Just
I
ask.
mean, if we hold it, it's another 2 weeks,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just explain where it is.
Yeah. Okay. 13 Williams Lane. Tiny little lot in back of hospital housing and in back of Stacy's and Justin's place on Williams Lane. I know there was some questions about how to access this lot, and so I did a little plot plan showing it's gonna be, at the moment, a second dwelling to their house, and you're gonna park off of Williams Lane and walk a little path to get to it. And it will be, you know, divided with vegetation, etc. We are facing the front door toward the lot of the hospital in hopes that someday maybe they'll want it or rent it. So that's why the front door faces that way. The negative massing is to fit the stoop outside the door. Given the constraints of the lot. I tried to give you guys more pictures. I don't know if anybody went over there to show what we're contending with for grade and visibility from other places, which is pretty minimal. And we addressed the retaining part of it by simply doing a timber retaining wall with a set of stairs coming down on, I guess that's the north.
Yeah.
Hold on. To access that lower level and then have a wood retaining wall on the other side of the French door down below. Trying to use as much space as we can and give as many people an opportunity to have a place to live. So there is no like drive up driveway. They're gonna have to truck on some stepping stones or something, which will come in for that. But overall, I know the concern has been that it's tall and skinny, but that's driven by the lot. So we're trying to make it as appealing as we can. It's the front facing west is what would face the hospital parking. And the rear east is just facing the vegetation behind them that blocks this from Pleasant Street.
No,
So
you
there's
mean-
a person north of us that has some retaining and they park their cars down there, and I think I showed that. There's a lot of undulation in this area, so we do know we have to deal with that. And we made a couple little changes to windows and stuff, but there you have it.
Thank you, Val. I don't think you meant Pleasant. I think you meant,
Atlanta.
Pleasant.
what'd you say?
It is pleasant. It's, and when you go down the hill, if you're walking straight from, what's that side street? Atlantic,
Yeah.
you end up coming down all the way to Pleasant.
Oh, okay. all
Yeah,
right.
that Phelan's house is in between
Mm.
this and Pleasant Street.
Okay. We wouldn't see that long skinny
No,
part from,
No.
no. Okay. All right. All right. Board members, we've got Angus, Carrie, Connie, and myself.
and it's all natural to weather, sorry. Trim.
All right.
Do you guys want to say anything? Okay.
I'll go.
Okay, Carrie, go ahead.
I think this is reminiscent of at least the massing of the little modular houses on the corner across from the swimming pool and the right near here. So I think it's kind of in context, and I don't think we're ever going to see the odd elevation, which to me is the one that's facing Williams, which is just the little sliver. And I think Val's done an amazing job of getting a dwelling in this crazy lot. I think the parking lot really is where you'll see most of it. And I think that's the most attractive elevation. It's the most, yeah, I'm good with this. And I think the solution of the stairs going down at the end, Val, was a good one.
Thanks.
It seems like there's some random open land behind it that's probably all God knows what, hills and things. So yeah, that's all I've got. Thanks.
Thanks, Carrie. Angus or Connie?
April,
Okay.
I ditto what Carrie just said. I think, especially the west is extremely attractive, and I think it's appropriate, and it's a tough little lot, and I think it's designed well. Thank you.
Thanks, Connie. Angus?
I think this has been a very creative process to get a house in here. Well done with that. I think my only concern is just part of addressing the verticality of this is to bring the eave down to the head casing on the main block. So in that south facing right side, that would just come down. And I think that that would also help on the west facing front with just a little bit of reduction in that overall height.
Can I ask you a question about that? If we do that, then it will match up with, if you're looking at the west, the secondary mass, it will no longer be, have the hierarchy. Is that okay?
I noticed that, and
Yeah.
I think any sort of reduction in that gable, it's still going to be reading as much higher just because the total height of it compared to that secondary mass. So it
Mhm.
doesn't bother me that also, I think that that's flush, right? That on the west side, that's not like a recess and then a lower roof running in. It's all flush there.
Right.
So it might even make more sense to combine the termination there.
What do you
I
think,
like-
Val? Do we have is that a solution for you?
I do like keeping the corner board there though, and that is where the indent starts. So I'm fine with that. We're good with that.
Bring down that, but what is it,
Yeah.
west? To the top of those two windows?
Yep.
Okay, so could you make a motion? to
On the
that effect?
south, I think you said, right?
Yes, sorry,
Yeah.
south.
So my motion would be to approve as submitted with the lowering of the main gable so that the so that the eave is sitting on the head casing on the south and in this picture here, the west facing, the eave would be dropping down to the adjacent eave.
Can we do that with a exhibit A?
Sure.
Thanks.
All in favor of Angus's motion, Carrie,
I,
Connie?
Aye.
Angus?
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Val.
Okay, Abby, thanks. Let's see, I'll take it. So now we're on to old business of March 3rd, 26. First application is 1 Cherry Street. Stephen, of course, is not here, so I'll be chairing, and your board, Ethan, as you probably know, is myself, Abby, Angus, Connie. Joe is, this is 1 Cherry, and it looks to me like you are going to be moving forward with this for the 4-person board. How does that sound?
Who's the board?
Myself, Abby, Angus, and Connie. The alternate was Joe Paul, but he's not here, and Val's recused, and Stephen's not here.
Okay. I mean, last time we heard this was in June, so.
Yeah,
something.
so the usual thing that I have to say for applicants in a situation like this is if things don't go well for you, you can always ask Stephen or Joe to Mullen.
Okay, and sure.
So move forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's what it is.
Okay, so with that, we're gonna go to 1 Cherry Street. I'm already confused on this thing.
I think it goes downhill from.
It's fast forward, the little copy.
Well, I
place.
know, but you give your presentation and then we'll ask questions. I don't
That
want
was
to
it.
interrupt.
It is what it is.
That's what your
Well,
presentation was?
There you go. Yeah, see that, so that building there has approval to move to 10 Pollywog Lane. We have that approval already.
Okay,
So in its place, behind it is as you can see in the photograph, I think it's a prefab. So the new building we came up with was quite large. So we reduced its square footage and the new building is going to be a Dreamliner prefab house like the one behind. It's gonna be kind of the same thing with the addition of a 2-car garage. And the square footage is reduced, ground cover. That's it. You can see the pictures. in the
Okay,
drawings.
I'm sure there are gonna be questions,
Of course, yeah.
some of them from me.
I mean, it's a prefab, so I don't, it's what they are.
Yeah, okay.
You say that with such.
Well, it's cost efficient.
Holly, do you want to, seeing as you're right there, do you want to opine on this one?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So this building was proposed previously as a commercial building last year. I'm assuming it's still going to be commercial.
Right now, that's gonna be a dwelling with,
Yeah.
2 units.
However, based on the revised plans, it does look like it's residential, yet the COA detail is not changed. I think clarification on that is necessary to understand because residential detail, you don't need really necessarily all that parking. That was one of the biggest concerns from the last review. While that's zoning, I think, access is needed, and I know a future hardscaping plan would be submitted. But again, this property is located within the OHD. Black fenestration is not appropriate. Windows should have the Nantucket profile as appropriate, even as SDL, but not Anderson. 6/1 windows within the OHD is too contemporary. They should be 6/6, consistent with the neighborhood. Appreciate the reduction in size and height. This must be reflected on the COA as well. That COA, as you see in the application, is from the original application that you saw however many months ago. And then again, if this is a mixed use commercial with residential, I think commercial on the bottom and residential at top is the way it reads. Hardscaping COA should follow. A clarification and changes to COA regarding the height, the use. Front door facing Cherry Street should look more like a traditional front door, and especially not having a 2nd-story balcony. However, traditionally, the front door would be centered on that main mast, which faces east towards that existing parking lot. And I would refer you to 109 and 110 of our building with Nantucket in mind regarding shed dormers. They overwhelm the roof planes, and I believe those are my comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Thanks, Holly. Is there anyone else either on Zoom or in the room? I don't think so, but who wants to speak on this application?
Mr. Chair, there's nobody with their hands raised at this. Oh, I spoke too soon. There is somebody with their hands raised.
There is someone?
There is someone, Christine Mortensen. Let me just ask her to
Okay.
unmute.
Can we let her in?
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi.
I was actually in attendance, I think, the last time this has come here, and I do appreciate that the owner has shared plans and shared the revisions as he's gone along this process. I still do have some concerns, and I think the biggest one is honestly the safety that I voiced to him. I think given the scale of the new proposed building, it's currently less than 400 square feet, and with the new size, it is going to be an increase of 7.5 times the existing structure. And I think honestly, there's a lot of concern from myself and other neighbors on Cherry Street who voiced entering and exiting Cherry Street and William Street due to this size, I think is going to be quite problematic if this is still a commercial on the first floor, as I understand it to be. I think as you have the cars maneuvering. So I had asked the owner if we could please see a site plan just to understand how the cars could actually physically get out of the parking spaces from the gym and in and out of this space. I think that's our biggest concern. I think I was told it was probably going to be the doctor's office was going to continue there. I know since the photos that have shown, they've added all the ADA access ramps. And so I was a little confused about how would you access from Cherry Street. It looks like the access coming off of Cherry Street, then that means that patients going in and out would have to go directly onto the street itself. And I was just concerned about, I guess, the pedestrian traffic in doing so. And I think we're just going to end up with a blind corner on Cherry Street if the building actually goes and extends all the way as it's shown in the plan view with the vegetation around there. I also would just ask about the accuracy of the site plan that was shared. I did an overlay, and it looks like the curb on the north side in the newest plan that we have received is actually going into William Street. So I don't really understand how that wouldn't impact the traffic for maneuvering and also in and out by Cumberland Farms. I don't see the stairs on the site plan, so I was just wondering how tight that gets, I guess. And I know he has a zero tolerance because it is a commercial space, but just wanted to understand, I guess, the entire structure in its entirety. And then lastly, I think this is probably more of a planning, not an HDC, but if this is a multi-use, I just wasn't sure if there were now, say, 2 uses, did we need additional parking spaces required for that? But I think that might be more for the planning board. So,
Okay. Is that it?
yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else?
It doesn't look like there's anybody online.
Okay. All right, who would like?
Mr. Chair, sorry, I spoke too soon. Steve Gelhart.
Steve Gelhart.
Geldhart.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Go
Hi.
ahead, Steve.
Hi. I just want to second, I think Chris really captured the concerns of the neighbors. And I just want to make sure that, that's understood. There are a lot of us that feel the same way. It's a rather large structure. Doesn't feel like it's in keeping with the residential, at least on the Cherry Street side. I realize there's a commercial building on the William Street, but on our side, it feels like it's out of place, and it's right on the street. So as Chris mentioned, we're concerned about the appearance, and 2, the safety. That's it.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. How about now? You ready for the board?
I think we're ready for the board.
All right, we're ready for the board. So to reiterate, Abby, Angus, Connie, and myself, who would like to begin?
I can start.
Thank you, Angus.
So I have to address the overall footprint and scale of the height of the building. I feel like it overwhelms the site. There are smaller details like the porch detail on the south that faces Cherry Street and the deck above with the balcony that doesn't really follow our guidelines, building with Nantucket in mind. But I think what would really sort of bring all this into focus is a streetscape. I think from Orange Street with the building that exists there and what this looks like behind it, but also from Cherry and Williams to sort of put it into scale with the adjacent buildings. In the site plan and in the elevations, there really isn't any addressing anything that's adjacent, and it's I think I know how it's going to affect things, but I think that it needs to be shown graphically. Thank you.
Thank you, Angus. Who's next?
I could go, if I could ask a general question first.
Of course you can.
'Cause
Go
I'm
ahead.
not, I just want to make sure I'm talking about the right drawing.
Mhm.
Okay. So the red line around the box is the newly proposed?
Yes.
Okay. So so can I continue now?
Yeah, of
Because
course you can.
I think we got some negative about the last time you brought this here about the size of it on the lot. But now it looks even bigger and boxier and more sort of taking up a lot of space. So I actually preferred the additive massing of the original one you submitted. So one, just the size of this structure on the lot. I agree with Holly about the windows. 6/1 are too modern for this historic district. 6/6s would be more appropriate. The black trim also too harsh. A real front door, not like French doors. And am worried about parking as you are sharing this with the gym, I'm not sure how this all works together. So those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Let's see, we have Connie and who else? Oh, that's it,
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree with what's been said, especially this does look, compared to what was there. It just, I think someone already said it, it just overwhelms the lot. It's too large for that lot, and it could be a safety concern. I don't really have much else to add. I just agree with what's already been stated. Thank you.
Okay, Connie, thank you. Like Abby, I was looking at the previous, and there are so many things about the previous that I find more appropriate than the new design. It steps down more. It's kind of more rambling and less sort of rigid. So I'd love, the next application to be a toned down version of the earlier application rather than a pumped up version of it. Now I realize, in saying that the building has gotten shorter, so I'm sure the ground coverage is less, right?
Yes.
But when I look at it, it seems like a bigger building, and I think that if you checked out the floor area ratio, it would probably be bigger on the second one than on the first one. So, yeah, I agree with the comments that the board makes. I agree with the comments that Holly made. And in all that, I'm not even going to address the concerns that some of the neighbors made with regard to the parking lot, circulation into and out of this little area. That's going to be difficult, but as you know, that's not our purview. So I think it all needs to be thought through. Should we hold this for some revisions, kind folks?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Let's see, we're all at the table. So all those in favor of Abby's motion to hold for revision, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ethan. Nice seeing you. Okay, now, let's see, Abby, we're to Low Beach and you will be chair.
Bless you.
If you don't mind. Bless you. And let's see, the board would be yourself, Angus, no Joe, Carrie, Lonnie is on. Oh, and Val, you're the agent, so again, you're stuck with a four-person board if you want. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Valerie, you're up.
Actually, the last time you guys looked at this, you were all very favorable and pretty much in agreement about a couple of things. One was to make what I'm calling the main massing now bigger, taller, and a little bigger so that there was a differentiation between what's the now existing main mass, which has the two funky dormers on it. So that was really surprising and wonderful. So we did that. I had previously had smaller windows on the first floor and I changed those to be the same size as what's above and directly underneath them, which I think really gives it more of a presence as this is the front of the house. I added shutters. You actually thought the roof walk was good. I took the connector porch off and the dormer, so it's truly just a connector, which I think helps the hierarchy, which was the main concern. And I made the dormer on the far right a flush dormer instead of the little window that I had there. And as a result, I think all the way around, it just became more evident what the main mass was. And you all liked the Eve forward idea, which I think was Carrie's. And at the end of the packet that you have, I showed again the distance to the beach. I know there were some concerns about the windows on the beach side, but I think it shows no differently than other houses that are out there, and it's over 1,000 feet to the beach, which is a little drop down. So those are the changes.
Thank you, Val. I think, let's see, do we establish the board? It's myself, Angus, Joe Paul, who's not here, Carrie, and Connie. Could you sit on this?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'll
I
go.
have a question.
Oops, sorry.
Okay, what's your question?
So I'm looking at the south elevation and the previous submission and the existing proposal, and just trying to figure out what exactly has changed there. It looks like the roof and window are kind of the same to the left, and then to the right where the roof walk is and that gable. It says in the note that the mass is wider, but I guess I'm not really
It's wider
seeing it.
on the sides, which is why the height went up and the eave went up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. You can go on to Carrie if you want.
Oh, okay. You don't want to continue?
That was just my question.
Okay. Carrie, are you ready?
Yeah, I totally appreciate all the simplification and clarification of the masses. It feels like the building does now. It's rambling. It's simple. There's a few little quirks, and I think Val's done a great job. Thanks.
Thanks, Carrie. Connie?
Yeah, I have no concerns. Thank you.
Holly, did you write this one up? No.
No.
No. Okay. What color are the shutters, Val?
Whatever color you want them to be. The trim is white, the
I just-
sash is white.
I was
They
just
could-
afraid they would be black. Let's see. You have white sash, gray foundation.
Yeah, I
Doesn't
don't see a color.
The front door now is blue. I guess we could make them blue and match the door,
Like a Newport blue would be nice.
or take them off.
What'd you say, Carrie? I can't hear you.
Or one of the Newport, isn't there a blue that's like a Newport blue? It's kind of, is it?
Blue.
Yeah. I think that'd be
Okay.
pretty.
All right, so, no, I just was worried that they were black. Angus, did you want to?
Yeah. So that connector, I wish that it was sort of a continuous, like drop lower and drop lower, but it's dropping and then popping back up again. And then those dormers, I know they're existing, but gosh, it's like, I wish they had a little shed roof on top of them to just sort of bring down the scale and make it, because it almost looks like the eaves of those gable dormers is as high as the main, what is going to be the new main mass.
They're definitely unusual, but those are existing.
Yeah.
Uh, If the shed dormers are gonna make it or break it, I guess we could do them as shed. We were trying not to touch stuff on that section, but
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't normally dig into something that's existing, but as part of the change of the main, what was the main mass now becoming the subordinate mass, I think that would really help. And that's what I have.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Angus. I unfortunately agree about those dinky little doghouse-ish dormers. If those win, I think it would be, I love this style, this rambling added on. It's got a real sort of sconce appeal to it. And unfortunately, they're right on the street. So
I know.
So if those went away, I think you'd have a sort of a carte blanche here.
Well, I don't want to get rid of them because those are egress windows for the space that's there, but
just
we could make them shed. Sure, do a exhibit A.
I will make a motion to approve as submitted with the exception of the north-facing dormers of the existing building becoming sheds that would look almost identical to the adjacent shed dormer to the right, to
Yeah,
the
we'll lower them
west.
down so they're, so
Yeah,
it's sitting on top like that one.
and that will be an Exhibit A.
And the shutters go to Newport Blue?
And the shutters would be Newport Blue.
Okay.
All right, all right. On Angus's motion, Connie?
Aye.
Carrie?
Aye.
Abby? Aye. Angus?
Aye.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Abby. Next up is 4 Westerwick Way. That's you, Linda, right? And miraculously, we have a full board. So myself, Abby, Val, Angus, and Carrie. I just chose Carrie because Connie was
I
on all
just
the
went-
other stuff.
Yeah, we just-
There was some confusion when it came in the last time. We gave you a billion pictures of the subdivision out there. Most of them have garages or secondary dwellings that mimic the main house in front, but not quite in front. They're to the right or to the left. I think you all thought that this particular structure was in front of the house. It's not. It's to the left. It actually blocks the pool house and the pool where it is actually located to the left of the house. So it is not in front of the house. It's a small structure. Some of the objectionable things have been changed. The garage doors don't face the street, they face actually the parking area. And we changed the profile of the windows and simplified the structure.
That it? Okay, now I'm just going to comment on a few things before I turn it over to the board. One, this application does not have the prior. So, we're sort of speculating about what exactly has changed.
Well, you didn't really get into it except for the dormer because of where you
Okay,
thought it was
well,
located.
I'm just kind of noting, because now another thing it says like, the location has quote changed, but it doesn't say where it's
It
changed
didn't
from.
change. It was never in front of the structure, but.
No, but
you
there's
thought it
these little
was.
notes on here.
We
If you'll indulge me
clarified-
for a
we
moment.
Clarified where it was going.
Okay,
It
But-
moved
but-
back a little bit to the left, but it was where it is now.
okay. Well, there's a little something on here that certainly looks like your handwriting that says changed location.
Yeah, it moved back so it was in parallel with. the
Listen,
schoolhouse.
I'm not going to belabor it, but the other thing is just to clarify, when the board says in front of, like a building is in front of the main dwelling, it just means like,
Forward.
it's forward of the building, not like it's sitting right directly visually in front of the building. It's forward of the building.
Generally
That does-
speaking,
okay,
but last
that-
time you
that-
thought it was directly in front.
Okay, well, I just want to make that clarification because I
got it.
believe that you just said it's not in front of the building. Well, in terms of its proximity to the street,
It
it's
is.
in front of the building.
It's forward. But we
All
gave you
right.
the pictures of everybody else in the
Okay.
same situation.
Right.
But you guys said it
Okay.
was directly in front of
Okay.
the front door. and
All
it
right,
wasn't.
thank you, Linda. Those are the comments. So,
Yeah.
nobody wants to speak on this other than board members, right?
No, Mr. Chair.
No?
No.
Okay. All right. So, board members, I think you know who you are. Who wants to begin?
I will.
Thank you.
I went back and looked at the first one. This is less high, less complicated. It fits in with all the other little side
Things.
structures like that exist out there. I don't have any concerns.
Okay. Val, thank you. Who's next?
I can go if you want.
All right, Abby.
So Linda, the proposed, these dormers on either side of the gable, they're set back on the north elevation, but not on the east. It looks like they're flush. Which are they? Are they set back a little bit or?
They're flush, but they have a trim band. They have the eave underneath them. It's very small. They want to put storage up there. They don't really have much.
Okay, so I would prefer set back a little from the eave line so that you don't get that sort of butterfly effect. And I think the doors are over fenestrated. They could just be simple, tongue and groove.
They actually match the doors on the,
I know.
on
And,
the, on the thing.
Continue, Abby.
I don't have.
Okay. Thank you.
I know.
Thank you, Abby and Linda. Who's next?
I'm happy to go.
Great, thank you.
So I think the last time we saw this, the concern was that the building was forward of the house, which it still is. So that still needs to be addressed. The dormer should meet the guidelines minimally, which is a foot setback and 3 feet from the gables. We often refer to those rules of 1 foot back and 3 feet back, but that is, if you look, I think it's page 110 of the Building with Nantucket in Mind. Figure 105 is what everybody is referring to when we talk about those guidelines of a foot back from the eave and 3 feet back from the gable. But adjacent to that is the figure 104, which shows the dormer that is being presented in this application, and says that this sort of dormer that covers the whole roof obliterates the roof, and it's discouraged. So I want us to keep that in mind. And this is certainly one of those cases. So I would want that to be reduced at least to the minimum, but still that's not really following the guidelines. Thank you.
Angus, thank you. Carrie?
I have nothing to add. I agree with that dormer comment of Angus's, but maybe you could get away with it on the street side, and on the property side, you could have the larger one. But it's a pretty simple little structure. I don't see it being too egregious. Thanks.
Thanks, Carrie. So my view is that there's enough photographic documentation of ancillary structures in the quote front of the house in that neighborhood. So that I'm okay with. I am troubled by the dormers, but I should say I'm troubled by the dormer that faces the street. And I thought, well, a simple solution here would be just to get rid of that one dormer and keep the one in the back, which won't be visible. And then you can do whatever you want back there.
We'll agree to that. We thought that was an option for us.
It kind of circuitously solves, I believe, Angus's issue with the criteria for dormers. Whether or not he or the other board members agree. I think it would seriously simplify the structure as seen from our purview, which is the street. So.
I'm just having a conversation with the person who drew it. If you look at the pictures, it's minimally visible at this time of year. You can't see that dormer. But what did you want to do?
What I'm talking about is the proportions in the guidelines. They suggest in the guidelines that you referred to, Angus. You're talking about a full structure. This is a shed. So proportionally, when you talk about 3 feet, you're talking about, pretty much half the nothing, there's nothing up there then.
Right.
So, from that standpoint, I'd like to defend the choice that we made of
You're not gonna win that one.
increasing the eaves and allowing for full storage up there.
So I have
can I
one more
respond to
comment,
that whenever-
Mr. Chairman. We did reduce the height, which was asked to have reduced the height, which eliminated the ability to drop it off the ridge, because then you got nothing. I appreciate leaving the full dormer in the back on the part you can't see, but this is still minimally visible from the street because of all the existing screening, which they have no intention of getting rid of there.
Okay. Angus, I know you wanted to respond to something.
Oh, I think the applicant makes a very good point, is that when the roof is so small, the guidelines, you end up with a very small dormer. And, and so I think that makes you think, well, maybe a dormer isn't appropriate on a shed. Or if it is, it's, large enough for one pane high and 3 panes wide, which would have been a more typical shed. This is more about creating headspace in a gable than it is about light, which they were
Agree.
traditionally for.
Yeah.
And you could show me 100 pictures of side to side dormers. Unfortunately, the guidelines aren't always followed and are approved. So
Did you go?
Can I add something too?
Want to add something too?
Carrie, go ahead.
Thanks. I thought this was a garage, but it's a shed, and we don't normally have dormers on sheds, nor do we have a full, double hung window in the gable. So I think a good compromise to getting anything like this is to just remove that street side dormer. You've got a couple of foot knee wall upstairs, so I think you've got some space.
Okay, Carrie, thank you. Val, did you want to say something?
Well, I have a question. Is this supposed to be an exempt shed?
It physically will be, yeah, the 200 square feet.
Because you are limited to height on those.
Yeah, that's
by
why
a
we
zoning.
reduced it again.
But I would just point out to my fellow commissioners who have some reservations about this to please look at the pictures and also look at the assessor's map. I've worked on several of these places out there and every single one is in the same position. You come in, you turn left or right, and there's a garage or ancillary structure, and the main house is always in back of that. And it's not an anomaly in this neighborhood. I'm not discussing sheds or dormers. I think there's a variety of things, including a whole bunch of full story second floors, but that's it. And I know you probably don't think you're going to take away the vegetation, but my guess is you will because it's in front of the cabana, but hopefully you'll replant it.
Yeah, it's in a parking space, Val, so it's already open there.
That's
Okay, Val, thanks. And I'm just going to go back to my original thought. So I accept the fact that it is closer to the road than the house. I've already said that. But now, interestingly, when I go through the precedent photos, almost none of the precedent photos have dormers that face the road. And they look good for that reason. So just pointing that out.
Okay, we'll take that. Get rid of the
Well,
dormer on the street.
Let's just say that you heard me say that. I'm not sure you, well, actually Carrie
Well,
said it
those
too.
might be not exemptions.
Does
I would
somebody-
motion to approve with the staff approval, removing the dormer on the street side.
Okay, Carrie, thank you for the motion. Let's see how that goes. Angus.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Val,
Aye.
Connie.
Oh.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, not Connie. Carrie.
Aye.
And were you on it? What color are the doors? Garage doors?
Sorry.
Paint colors, garage doors.
Same color as the front door of the house, it's white.
All right, well, are you still okay? All right, so is that an aye? Okay, and I'm in favor too. Thank you for working with the board.
Thanks.
All right. So can somebody just note that down? I don't think it needs an exhibit A. We'll just say, note down on the things. I don't think it's necessary or, just.
I'll just
if
cross it
Angus
off.
Could just like cross out the dormer on
Yeah.
it, whatever elevation that is. Okay, thank you. There's that. And let's see. We're at 8 North Mill. Linda representing myself, Abby, no Stephen, Angus is on this, and our alternate is Connie.
So we have
So,
you, Abby,
you have
Angus,
four-
and Connie.
You have 4 people, me, Abby, Angus, Connie. Good?
Yep.
Okay,
We haven't been back for a year because of various issues with the applicant's family. And we wanted to give it some more thought and let stuff grow in, let everything work out. And we've given you a rendering. You have already approved landscaping, hardscaping. You've already approved the fence that's shown in the rendering. It's going to be thoroughly planted, and we got to get this off the plate. Building's not moving. The one that's up next to it now actually looks a little closer to the street than ours. So the whole street is changing, and we just need to get this moving. We need to get it over with, and it needs to get a CO. So it's back with the rendering of what it looks like. If you want to go to the pictures, it'd be very helpful.
Linda,
Yeah.
people have texted me, they can't hear you online.
Me?
Just saying.
Wow.
Me?
It seems to me like the mic is on.
It's on,
Yeah.
and I'm standing right
I don't
here.
know what we can do.
Am I being subdued, Val, for a change?
I think you're just standing back a little bit
Oh.
from it.
We're not seeing the scroll drawings. Here they come. Thank
Here they come. That's the plan that you saw before, and here's the renderings right here.
Hey, Carrie?
Yeah, streetscape is what you asked for, and there it is.
Carrie?
Yes, yes,
Can you hear Linda?
yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with that.
Carrie's not sitting on it, but that's all right.
Well, no, I was just.
I wanna
you
make
know,
sure she can hear me.
I heard her voice and realized she's on Zoom like everybody else. So
So there's the picture with the fence, the screening, the plantings, and the foundation is brick. It's all been brick veneered. It's all been backfilled. So you can see that most of it's not showing. Anybody who's driven up there, you can see that it just sort of, it's there.
now this is really a sign of the times. This is a rendering, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So much for
I see all
AI.
the snow with all the plants that don't have any
Yeah.
snow on them.
It melted.
I like the flowers.
There's another picture as well. Can we go to the next picture? The corner picture is probably better. Which is the next one?
Just
see
on
one
that
with the
tree,
tree.
have we
Oh,
established
that
that
tree.
you're able to put that there? Because there was some question
Yeah,
about it.
it's on his property.
I meant about the sewer thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's far enough. There's the corner picture. Snow melted. The 5-foot move is it. That's it.
My understanding, just to reiterate, is that the landscape that we're looking at here was approved, right?
Yep,
Okay, so, but we never actually got around to like,
the 5-foot
you
move.
know, the move, which needs to be approved or not approved by this board. So, let's see, have you folks finished your presentation?
Yeah,
Yes? And if you need to say anything else, I'll entertain that. Now I'm gonna guess that Ann wants to speak, right, on Zoom?
This Henry, yeah, Ann and Henry
Henry
Miller.
Miller.
Mr. Chair, can I speak first before you go to the
Oh, yeah,
public?
sure, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is an infill dwelling within the OHG Quaker neighborhood. And this is an as-built condition that you all reviewed a year ago. It was last heard at the last hearing, the application of this application, the board made a motion for more information that would give the board a better picture of the final result and include a full-scale mock-up, end quote. I think the renderings are very helpful in that regard. It took me a while to actually figure out whether they were renderings, but the snow and not being on the vegetation gave that away. The hardscape revision was to track originally, and then you all actually approved that, reviewed it and approved it to a 3-1 vote back in September of last year. What was submitted was the sewer department stamped sewer plan that's in the application, which includes that topo layer. Also submitted were those 2 photos. And the fence is exactly what was approved in September. Appreciate the mock-up. It does seem that additional planting can be installed along the paddock fence. If you
Yep.
look at the rendering, it doesn't match with what was approved. It's actually more. So I would notate that by the board, if the board is so inclined, that additional vegetation would be necessary. And I think that would take your past comments into consideration. I am concerned, while this looks pretty, about the slope on the side yard, which was originally shown in Linda's photo that she provided March of last year. And it's also included in my staff comments. The slope in that photo is not shown in these submitted renderings. It's more flat and there's more along that fence. So I was just wanted to bring that to the board's attention. And condensed comments for the board's consideration. The finished floor height to be confirmed. This was what you had said at the last meeting. Revise approved landscape plan to include the additional screening. And I believe
We did that in
was-
September.
That was it. But again, I know I didn't include it in my staff comments, but this is the approved landscape plan. You had approved it subject to the paddock fence not being directly in front of the building along North Mill. So it's only that corner, if you will. And I think if, Fiona, if you don't mind going to the photo beforehand, I think that's helpful. So that was pretty much why it was approved through staff. But again, there was additional vegetation that they've added. I think that this should be supplemented with any approvals that are so inclined to approve.
Yeah, it was difficult to add with the
And-
rendering,
Hold up.
just because
And
it's a
for
rendering.
the boards, I think that's it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Holly, thank you. So now, I guess we're hearing from at least two people, right? Henry
Yes.
Miller and Ann.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Can whoever is up first. can
Henry
admit them?
Miller.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, kind of. Keep going.
I'll turn up. Is that better?
That's great. And I'm going to
Okay.
guess you're Henry Miller.
Mueller. Yep.
Oh, Mueller.
Yep.
Oh, so you don't write novels.
Thinking about it, but no, I have not.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Mueller.
All right. Thank you very much, Ray. Mr. Chairman, excuse me. Yeah, my wife and I own the house at 11 North Mill. And my family sold the land that Mr. Sarkeesian bought this corner lot on. And along with neighbors, we have been, following all of these efforts, house by house by house. I'm also speaking a little bit on behalf of my brother, Fred Mueller, who is an abutter at 3 North Mill. And I'll come to that in just a moment. We're at a very, sort of uncomfortable moment where something happened that probably should not have happened. There has been a lot of time, energy from everyone involved put into this. I certainly will note that on the back line of the behind the house going up the hill, there was a good solution arrived at there. So, I think things could have been, we could have avoided this, and that's frustrating. And it would have been great to have had a better chance to really discuss all the ins and outs here. I wanted to say that as well as making note a little more urgently on behalf of my brother. As an abutter, he felt that his rights were not observed or listened to. I will just say that. And then Ann Duez will speak further on behalf of the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mueller. And is Ann up?
Yeah.
Hello, it's Ann.
Hi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for commissioners. We're basically facing an as-built situation that isn't going to go away. I don't know what all the considerations were. I find it absolutely astonishing that having asked for a full-scale mock-up using live plants last March, that never happened. This is the first time we see this application back here. And it's just going to end up being approved. Now, what I would like to know and have go into the record, because there won't be an appeal of this at this point, why, what are the penalties for this egregious lack of following the rules, lack of following what the HDC approved. You know, this application is a formality, and the house was already built when it came in, so what are you gonna do? We had some ideas about lowering the roof line, they were not taken. But the bottom line here is, what is the penalty for doing this? Like, it's like, what was the penalty for tearing down the house in Nantucket without approval? At some point, if we don't have proper penalties for this kind of egregious disobeying of the rules and disrespect for the HDC, then every time we do this, it signals a green light to all the people who say, just go to the HDC, but don't pay any attention to what they're saying. Do what you want to do, and then pay the fees because they aren't worth anything. So I just think it's important to be on the record about the process here, which is something that I am fearful of as a long-term person on Nantucket, and many, many other people are as well. People are getting away with stuff they shouldn't. So that's what I have to say. Thanks.
We paid the as-built fee.
And thank you. Thank you both for your comments. Is there
Mr. Chair, there's one more person,
one more person?
Ann Davis.
Oh, Ann Davis. Hi, Ann. Is she on it?
Yes, hello, Chairman Poll. Thank you
Hi.
for letting me speak. It's hard to follow those wonderful comments from Henry Mueller and Ann Duez. I just had a couple things. I have two things to say. With the corner view of the house, there's the snow, and it's actually kind of obscuring. It's kind of a little misleading because the snow is on the sort of slope, so it's kind of hard to tell how dramatic that is in person. And I just hope that everybody appreciates how unnatural that slope looks and how odd it is from that corner. It almost looks like the house is floating, levitating or something. I don't know. It's a strange position. And I just would love to understand how this is going to be properly mitigated. And I understand also from the sewer man, I can't remember his name. I've lost the plot on his name, but that nothing could be planted there. And there's this tree right there. I don't know why that's not possible, because it's way too close to the sewer line. So that's kind of crazy to have that there. And I guess those are my only two comments. I just, and I agree with Ann that there should, people, when they just do something like this, should be penalized. I mean, I don't understand why that goes on Nantucket. The HDC is such an important element to maintaining the town's character and beauty. And this is detrimental to the historic character of the neighborhood. And I feel very strongly about it. Thank you, Chairman Poll.
Thank you, Ann.
Mr. Chairman, since that meeting, we did talk to David Gray and we're fine with the plantings.
Well, I'm
And we
gonna
said at the
assume so
last meeting.
because, well, we're going to require the landscape as shown to be,
On the September approval.
anyway, thank you all. I think it's time for us to hear from the board and see where we're going with this. So just to reiterate, myself, Abby, Angus, Connie, who would like to begin?
I can start.
Thank you, Angus.
So for a year, we've been waiting for the full-size mock-up that was requested, and that never appeared. And now we're looking at a photoshopped winter photo with greens in it. And yeah, it's pretty, but how realistic is it? And as one of the members of the public speaking, it does seem like the house is levitating. This is a very large and imposing structure in a very conspicuous, like most conspicuous situation where it's on a corner, it's up the hill, it's built higher.
Mm-mm.
It feels higher than was approved because of, it's not a house that is 20, 100 feet back and you move it 5 feet. Well, what's the big difference? Well, this was 10 feet back. So it's moved 50% closer to the street than was approved. And I wouldn't say that this is a gimme, that we approve this. We have the authority to deny this application. And in my mind, this is an egregious overstep. And I thought that the construction on this was going to stop at the last meeting, except to make it watertight. And my guess is it's completely finished and just trying to tie up loose ends for the next season. And I still would want to see a mock-up in situ rather than a photoshopped picture. So that's where I'm at. Thank you.
Okay. Angus, thank you. Who's next? Oh, don't all shout at once. Let's see, Abby and Connie. I think that's why you're sitting in the chair there. Don't necessarily have to you say what you need to say.
Well, so, yeah, well, I mean, it never came back to the board, and I mean, none of us ever voted on this, so I'm at a loss on that, and I, as far as an as-built fee is, I don't know how we even already paid that when I mean, we're just getting around to talking about it now. It's sort of already done.
No, you pay it when you come back in again.
So, but I guess the question is, how do we mitigate this steep hill on Angola? I like the idea of the Garden of the Sea fence obscuring that, but I've got the other thought is to make a stone wall, but a stone wall, bringing that up and sort of mitigating the foundation is a totally different feel. So the big question, besides not approving this at all, is what are we going to do about the Angola side? And I can't tell, are there any window walls or anything on that street that are still there, or
On Angola?
yeah, are there?
Looking down the street. Go ahead.
There is one window well on the Angola side. There are no window wells on the North Mill side.
Okay,
Is it in the middle? Excuse me.
It's pretty much underneath the three
Yeah, okay.
windows.
You
Right?
know,
The
see
gang-
see
the three ganged
see
windows?
the rebate there?
It's,
Set in there.
I'm not sure it is there.
Oh.
Is it,
It's
is it here, or is it there?
There. Yeah.
I think it's right the second spot you pointed. There's three windows there. It's yeah.
Well,
And just-
regardless,
And
the
just
thing
to
is,
answer
I'm
your
not,
question, may I, or you tell me what?
It's in the inset. See, look at
There
the
it is.
picture.
Yeah, there, thank you.
it's in the
It's in the
inside.
inset.
Okay, so, I think that's going to be a problem.
It's at
for-
grade.
Yeah, we might have to get rid of that because
We can't get rid of it
of the
now.
situation.
We're
Abby
not getting
speak.
rid of it.
Anyway, so, yeah, I'd like to know how we are going to mitigate the steepness of this hill on Angola, and it just looks like the steamship came in and crashed into the beach, and it's such an enormous building. It's really overpowering that corner, and it's just,
Hang on a second.
this is a real problem. So,
Abby, thank you. Connie?
I do agree with some of the comments made by my fellow commissioners. This is a very unfortunate incident, and I think a lot of people are questioning if the HDC has any authority by some of the past couple of weeks that we've had to endure. That being said, I don't have a solution. It, we're looking at, this application is to address the 5 feet, correct? That's all it is. to
That's
address.
it.
So, I mean, again, I have no solutions. The as-built fee, I guess, has been paid.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate, and I don't want this to set a precedence, and I can see it unfortunately going that way with a lot of other applications that are going to come before us. Thank you.
Thanks, Connie. So I heard a few things that resonated with me. The first was from Holly, where, you know, we're talking about the fact that the building has moved 5 feet laterally without going down has created this issue at the corner where the grade change is more exacerbated than we had thought. So your foundation planting has kind of covered that up. But other than the tree, there's literally nothing in this that's breaking up like the vault. And I think that the proximity of the building on both streets is such that, to Holly's point earlier, it wants, like, I'd love to see something other than a Japanese holly that's 18 inches high and just barely makes it to the line between the brick foundation and the shingles. So if we could see more of a planting plan where this building becomes more integrated with the landscape, I think that it will ground the building, which is the whole effect of it floating. I think that was Ann Davis said that, I think. Anyway, I think this needs more landscape around it to integrate the building, this 2-story mass, with the very low landscape all around it. So
Would
I'd
you
love to
suggest
see-
that we modify the approval we got in September for the hardscape? Because that's all on the hardscape plan. As opposed
you
to this
mean,
one.
This rendering does not represent what would,
She just showed it to you. There's a lot more on the hardscape plan that was approved in September.
oh, well, it would be great to see that in the rendering.
It's hard to do that with an AI type of program.
I just wanted to say a few points. I have, when you say you haven't seen me, I've been here, I think 5 or 6 times. And because we kept discussing that back while that took 3 meetings, like it wasn't like this was never discussed. I'm just trying to, again, work with the board and being patient. But I was first asked to either brick veneer. This was what the solution was. Why don't you try a brick veneer or lower the shingles? So I spent significant money to do the brick veneer. I then graded it. I took pictures. I brought that back into the board. And then the fence has to help mitigate the problem. I mean, that wasn't even discussed. And then at the last meeting, it was all of a sudden that it was approved, like add a fence. I'm like, okay, so that I would think those 2 things are pretty significant changes to help. And as far as the moving of the 5 feet, just to reiterate, it's 5.5 feet from the road at the closest point, and it goes to 15 feet as you're coming to my neighbor's house, which is now has a 1st floor frame. And I don't know if anyone's been down there in recent weeks, but that's going to help tie this whole neighborhood together, is his build. So I'm hoping, I know like the other commissioner, Joe, right, appreciated the way it looked and how the house is further from the garage. That was a point. It'd be 5 feet closer to the garage. And I think he said, I really like, that was a comment made at the last meeting. So that's something to consider as well, how it relates to the other building that I was forced to put on the other side. So
There's a couple of things to clarify, Mr. Chairman. As far as you continuing to say it's floating, we had the surveyor, it was one of the previous hearings, tag that 1st floor height
It did not go up at all. Just be clear, it did not rise out of the ground, as said earlier. It's the floor
Okay.
height's exactly where it's supposed to be.
I understand that. I have always understood that.
Yeah, but there's some
I
comments
believe
that
the other
that's not.
board members also understand that. But even if it's the same plane and it moves closer to you, it's going to appear to be higher.
But keep in mind,
My
just the
point,
corner
and the
is,
earlier
and then the
point
back
that Ann
isn't.
had made about the landscape is, other than the deciduous tree that's planted at the corner, everything else is below the line of the shingle, at least in the rendering. Now,
It's not
so
in the
that's
reality.
giving the appearance of it basically like being something that's floating across a bed of moss or something. So, I'm trying to be helpful in saying that if we could see all the landscape there, and to Angus's earlier point, my recollection is that the last time that this was heard, the idea was the full scale mock-up, and I drive by there and I look over and it's not there yet. It's not there yet. But, so,
Can I address that for
that's
one
kind of
second?
where, to my mind, we left off.
We
So
looked at
here
that.
we are looking at a rendering, and that's
Right.
nice, but I'm suggesting that maybe you go another level to show us the rendering that includes everything that was approved on the landscape approval.
We couldn't plant it until the backfill and everything else, and then the fall came in. They're not going to give us plants in pots
okay.
to stick there.
Listen,
That's the
I get the
problem.
logistical issues
They
of
wouldn't
it.
do it.
So thank goodness we have these rendering programs that can get things pretty lifelike. But I guess what I'm, and I'm one of 4 sitting members right now. I would like to see sort of the whole landscape dropped
On
in
that.
and see how the building is, kind of integrated into the landscape.
And Ray, in fairness then, so when you buy plants, am I gonna just make you happy by saying they're now 5 years old and they've grown? Like,
We can't.
I know you are more sophisticated than that as a board to be able to understand, drive by the house tomorrow and take a look at it. Is it real? Is this, I kind of think this is crazy. That's how I feel, like what you're putting me through right now. I'm just.
Well, I do, I can't help but.
We will try to get the landscape that was approved. Some of it's already on there. He's frustrated. He's trying to get a CO.
Right.
And what we'll try to do is beef this up so it more represents what was approved in September and add the plants that are going to be there. If we have to modify the approval for the hardscape in the fall to add higher plants, that's fine, but we cannot go to surfing hydrangea, get plants in pots and stick them there for a mock-up. We did pursue that. It's not going to happen.
Well,
Linda,
aren't we
I
talking
just
about the
got set-
5-foot move anyway? I mean,
But you're talking about screening the move because it got closer. Part of it got closer, but if you look at some of the old plans, halfway down the building, it's way out of the 10 feet. It's only the front corner because it didn't move
Understood.
square.
Understood.
So we're not talking the whole building moved to 5 feet. Barely half of it moved to 5 feet, and it was moving away from the corner. It was getting to 8, then 10, and then 15.
Also understood. So I don't think you're going to get an approval tonight with the 4 members, like even with an Exhibit A type thing. I think we need more information, and I would like strongly encourage you to get somebody to mull it in. Because
I'm
5 members
planning
is
on
going to
that.
be more beneficial than a board of 4 right now for you.
I'll hunt them down.
Okay?
What we're doing is we're going to beef up the rendering to represent what was approved in September. And then if we have to have a minimum height of the plantings on that side, we can guarantee that there would be 3 feet or 4 feet.
We're
I'll
actually
deal with
not
it.
allowed to do that.
I'll deal with it.
We're not allowed to recommend people. However.
But Ray, am I clear on not modifying the 5 foot? I'm going to have to modify the hardscape that was approved in September.
That's what I'm suggesting. And
Okay.
that's what I would be satisfied with.
Fine. And then
Now,
you'll see them together.
I continue to say this, not just with your application, but always. I'm one person. This is ordinarily a 5-person board. Right now, it's a 4-person board. So what I would like to do is I would like to get a motion of some kind so that we can move along. How does that sound, folks? All right.
I would make a motion to hold for more information, which would include, and please feel free to add on. When I said mock-up, I'm not talking about planting that with what's shown in the photographs. I'm talking about, even if it's a plywood profile of vegetation that is stuck at the tightest place, where it is 5+ feet, and have some sort of representation of something that is going to be screening the issue of the building floating. The tree isn't enough, and there needs to be some sort of representation of how that is going to be retained at the street. Because right now it's like a dump truck just dumped dirt and it came down into the street, and that's how it's left. And so there has to be a section showing the house to the street and the transition in between and what that's going to look like. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay, yeah, I
a
think we're on the
stake
same
suffice
page.
with
So
a-
it's just more information, greater clarification.
I'm not putting
And
plywood
we'll
up,
leave
I'll
it
put
up
a
to the
stake up.
applicant to determine how they're going to present that. Is that fair? Okay. So is that your motion?
Are you gonna take a view? You're gonna have
If
to.
there's something for us to look at,
We'll
absolutely.
put stakes up at the height of the vegetation with, that little orange thing on the top. That's just all we're gonna do. We're not putting plywood up there. We'll put a
Okay.
stake up at the height of the vegetation from that corner down to the rear corner of the house.
Okay,
So I have a motion.
yeah, there's a motion on. the
And
table.
it doesn't have to do with comments from the public or the applicant.
Sorry. Yeah,
I'm talking about in one place showing sort of a section of what that's going to look like with the fence, which could be as simple as 2x4s and a post. But then the growth between that and the house represented by some plywood structure, whether it's showing a hedge or lower plantings, whatever was approved,
Dead
and maybe
Christmas
an
trees.
option of what you want to propose in addition to that. Just some sort of mock-up. So it's not planting, but it's
Okay.
at least something that we can see in real life graphically about how this is getting mitigated.
It won't be plywood.
Okay. That's pretty solid motion. Let's see now, is everybody at the table on this one? I believe so, right? I'm not. Who am I missing?
There's just 4 of you.
Myself and- Okay, so we are at the table. So all those in favor of Angus's motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, thanks, guys. Okay. Linda, you're still around?
I'm still around. We gotta get it over with.
Is the applicant here, the owner,
No.
Mr. Lauren?
Are you kidding? No.
Ralph isn't here to
He's
see
always
this through.
somewhere else when the meetings occur.
No,
Isn't
he's in
that
someplace
funny?
warm, probably.
Okay, so let's see, it's myself, Abby, Val, Angus, Connie, 16 Main, Roof Walk. I
Is that
remember
everybody
that.
at the table?
What?
Cool. Okay. Hold on. It's Joe. No, it's not Joe. It's you, Abby, Val, Angus,
I think it's everyone at the
and
table.
Connie. Okay. Remember this? We redid the drawing, showed you the drawing. It was
Yep.
approved before at
Yep.
18 feet. We redrew it at 12 feet. Because the AC units don't take up as much space anymore up there. And you wanted us to do a color from the front of the front section. That's why it was approved as white, guys. Look at the pictures. The front section is that weirdo tan color. This is not sitting on the front section. It's sitting on the shingled section, which is white windows, white trim, white doors, which is why it was approved originally as a white roof walk. Now that it's smaller, it's probably better. But you want to go to the next picture, please?
Where are all your photographs, Linda?
They're all in there. There's a billion of them in there.
Scrolling.
There's a billion of them in there. But this is, that whole section is white, white trim, white windows, white doors. That's why it was originally approved as white, not some weirdo tan color from the front section, which would look really strange on that
Linda,
section.
I'm not sure you need to like.
I don't know who you're lecturing here.
Okay, yeah.
Well, that's why
So-
we
so
came
let's-
in
let's
with a
cut to
paint
the
chip.
chase.
We came in with a paint chip, but it's gonna look ridiculous.
You have made the roof walk smaller. And you still want it as white.
Yes.
Do I understand that correctly?
But we gave you the paint chip of the front building in your files there. It's in that grouping there.
Okay, all right.
Kind of
But
creamy.
as to your point, this is on the back. So all the stuff on the back is white.
Yeah.
That's your point.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've said all you need to say,
Yeah,
right?
there's a chip if you go one more of the front building. It's kind of a weird, they
Okay.
had to customize
Well,
the
look,
paint.
Let's.
They're the
uh,
pictures.
Let's do Holly first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is the Nantucket looms, individually significant within the OHD. It was built after the Great Fire of 1846. George W. Macy was involved with that. This application was reviewed on February 3rd, but it was a renewal of the previously approved COA from 2006. The original approval was for a 18 by 12. The proposed is now 12 by 12 with white railings, natural or weather decking. This building, built after the Great Fire of 1846, was made of 2 units, and the first on Main Street, and this being the auction room, and the second was storage and a carriage shop. And then the rear brick building, which is 2 Union Street, which is the former town office building.
That's
The
white.
building's interior was opened during the H. Marshall Gardner ownership back in the 1940s. However, to this day, it looks like 2 separate structures. That's my point. The style, siding, and roof pitches are all different. The proposed roof walk is for the brick building, the middle as seen from Washington Street, and the use of a roof walk to hide unsightly AC units is appropriate and consistent with the architectural history of Main Street. My recommendation would be, while the proposed roof walk is 12 by 12 and essentially a square, it is not out of character with the historic neighborhood and is what is seen on the historic 1774 Pacific Club, aka the Roch Warehouse, which is across the street. So I have no concerns with this proposal, and I would refer the commission to your rendering within building with Nantucket in mind on page 83. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Holly, thank you. I'm gonna assume that there's no one that wants to speak out on this application, so we'll hear from board members. Who wants to go?
I'll go.
I have just a question.
Question, go.
Do you still have AC units up there that need a roof walk, or?
There are no AC units up there. That's what they're trying to do. They're tearing apart the second floor to get the shelves and
But
these
is there
pictures.
something we're trying to?
We want to put them up there, which is why we need to get this done before really before Daffy, because we can't block the street. There are no AC units in that building at all at the moment, and they're all going up on the roof like Meadow Main Building and the Congdon and Coleman. They're all up on roofs. Macy, what used to be the 5 and 10, they're all up on the roofs, but they're not up there yet, so there's nothing to put them on until we put the roof walk up there.
Okay, thanks. So Val, I think you were gonna.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I went down today and I walked around and I drove around, and unless you're standing, I don't even know where, down by where the 5 and 10 used to be, that there's a roof walk up there. So I don't have any concerns with this.
Val, thank you. Who's next?
I can go because I had the opposite feeling. So I got to, the Pacific Club, and I was stuck in traffic, and I said, oh, good time to look up there and see. And I didn't see one other roof walk in that area. So
Did you see the pictures? There's a dozen of them.
Linda,
No,
hang
no,
on, hang on.
I'm talking right where I stopped, right in front of the Pacific Club. And I didn't see one roof walk, and it's a historic house, and it looks good the way it is.
The Pacific Club has one on it, Abby. You
Linda?
can't see it when you're down below.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God.
Good point. And yes, you're right. And it's in all those old photographs, but it's time for the board members to speak. Okay, so let's see, we've heard from Val, we've heard from Abby. We still have Angus and Connie to go. Angus.
So, I mean, the way I look at it is that there was a white roof walk that was approved for 18 by 12, and now it's back as a white roof walk that's 12 by 12. So why wouldn't we pass it? I think, you know, with the precedent and the rest of the colors of the building being white, and kind of cat a corner across the street, there's a square. It's not the typical shape that we deal with. Normally it's rectangle, but in this case, there is precedent across the street at the Pacific Club. So in short,
Okay,
I'm okay with it.
all right, thank you. Angus, Connie.
I'm also okay, no concerns.
Yeah, and I'm good too. There's really tons of precedent for those roof walks that are there to mask the mechanicals, which of course we'd rather see something more traditional than something, you know.
Right.
It's
better than a window unit.
Motion to approve is
Hold on,
submitted.
Can I say
Okay.
something?
No.
Okay.
I just want to say,
quickly.
okay,
Thank you.
I'm not in favor of the roof walk, but I want to say that the color of this building is not white. It is a creamy, old fashioned color. And if you're going to put white up there, it's going to contrast with.
It's not on the
front.
tan part of the building.
Yeah,
It's on the white part of the building.
there's like two sections.
It's nowhere
of
near the
building.
front of the building, which is all that weird
All
color.
right.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see, I forget now, Val or Angus made the motion, right?
I did.
Okay, Val made the motion and it was to approve as submitted, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so again, we've got all the board members here. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I'll be.
Okay. So that motion carries 4-1. Thank you. Okay, now we're to workshop.
Mr. Chair, Michael Luffensberg is online, and Michael,
am.
did you want to share screen?
I would love to. Is that possible?
Great, if
Yes,
you could.
perfect.
And Abby, your
Okay.
this is 53 Novadear. It's Abby, Val, Angus,
Michael's gonna
Connie,
screen share.
Yep, I'm going to screen
and
share.
Carrie.
I just had to request the screen.
Should be okay now.
Yeah, perfect.
Carrie's on this.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. We took another look at this house on Novadear and went through all of the board suggestions from our last meeting. I think they were all great suggestions and we gave them a try. So there were 4 real main points that the board had last time, and I'll go through them here and how we adapted the design to accommodate them. So the first was on this north elevation, the street view of the house. You asked us to explore a reduction to the number of windows in this dormer, making them smaller, possibly spreading them out a little bit. So we significantly reduced the number of windows in this dormer and spread them so that there were shingles between. It feels like a lot less fenestration than there was before. We took a look at both chimneys on the house and reduced both their size and scale, and also pulled in the easterly chimney into the massing of the building so that it has less of a presence on the ground on the outside of the structure. Number 3, we took a look at the window divisions as a 6/6 potential, which is one of the things the board mentioned last time, which is actually something we reviewed with this board and showed a rendering of in our first meeting, and really felt that it was not as appropriate and a lot more busy than this current 4 light window configuration that we have here. So after that study, we decided to stick with this. And lastly, we took a look at the green roof that was on the front of the building and agreed that it really didn't need to be there. So we removed it from the project. So with those 4 changes, we feel like this is really appropriate and approvable, and hopefully the board does as well. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Michael.
Mhm.
Let me just reiterate the board, which is myself, Val, Angus, Connie, and Carrie. Are you there?
I am.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. So we have 5. And Would anybody like to go first?
I can.
Thank you, Angus.
So I appreciate you taking this back and doing revisions. Let me start with the north elevation facing the street. My suggestion in the last meeting was to bring the cheeks in so that they were basically at the side casings of the windows. I didn't suggest spacing the windows out, which I think actually makes it feel larger than it is. And also narrowing the windows, it makes it feel more vertical. Before they were square, and now they're definitely rectangular and vertical. And the 2/2s and the 2 light windows on the north feel very modern, and I still want to see those being 6 light in the dormer and 6/6 down below. The back I'm not as concerned with. I appreciate the chimney revision, but it's still outboard, and just getting it inside, I think, is going to make a big difference with the vertical presentation on that gable. That's a gable that you're going to see every time you come down to Nobodier Beach. And the rest of the things aren't really a concern to me. So that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angus. Val, are you ready? Or
Give me 2
Con-
seconds.
or Connie, are you ready?
I can't get it up on my.
Yeah, mine
screen.
mine won't come up
Yeah.
either.
I'm getting that laser here.
Me too.
Carrie, can you see the drawings?
Yeah, I can. Well, at least I can see the north and east.
I'm happy to flip to any other page if you want.
Okay, thanks. Well, I think the north and the west might be the ones that are mostly visible. I'm going to believe that the south from the beach is not that visible. There's a ton of fenestration. But I agree with Angus in the fact that I think that dormer on the front should be, I think the cheek walls should come in. I don't think it should be quite as long as almost the entire roof. I appreciate the chimneys. I do wish that one were fully inboard. I think that would help quite a lot. And I think to Angus's point of the 2/2s are very modern. I wonder if you'd look at 6/1.
I actually brought the elevations that we showed in our first meeting to the board with the 6/6s, if that would be helpful. It's the second page here. I can show it. At the time, the board really didn't feel it was any better than the 2/2s, but let me
Yeah,
know if
I
you want
think
to see it.
6/1 might be kind of good. It's kind of cottagey. But let someone else go. Thanks.
Thank you, Carrie. Connie, did you go?
I didn't. I don't know why I'm getting that crazy error, but I mean, I think my concern is that dormer, and I think Angus brought that up also. If that could somehow be smaller, I think really there are other chimneys in the area, but I think that's my major concern at this point.
Yeah. Yep, Connie.
Thank you.
So Carrie went, oh, thanks, Val.
I appreciate the changes. I just have 2 comments. One, there are outboard chimneys in the area, which are on this street. They're not parged white though, or gray, they're brick. So maybe that would help if you change the material. And the dormer, I guess, could be a little more tight. And other than that, I don't really have any concerns. Some of the windows in the area are 0/0, so having something is better than nothing. I think you've done a good job making a house this size seem like it's not huge next to the buildings that are there, so, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Val. I too think the dormer needs to bring in the cheek walls. And I would go with 6/6s on the front of the building for sure. I'm a little worried about these chimneys that are so monolithic and not corbelled. So it just reads as they just stand out a lot, like especially that elevation right there.
Yeah.
that
We
might be a
corbelled it at the
side
base so that it
elevation.
could narrow up a lot at the top in the hope that it would help minimize its presence.
Yeah, okay, well, it sounds like there are a few concerns still on this one. Do I hear a motion to hold for some revisions? Unless you have some questions about.
Yeah,
what
I mean, I
said.
was going to suggest, it sounds like the board's overwhelming comments are about the divisions of the windows and the dormer. I mean, those are two very select things that we could come back in with and have reviewed at the staff level potentially. I think we're open to studying that. I can show you the 6/6 study that we showed 3 meetings ago, if that would be helpful in coming to a decision sooner. But I would ideally leave with something I could come in with staff or as an exhibit A or something, if that's possible.
Okay, I think, do I hear a motion to?
Oh, he was going to, well, he was offering to show us one
Yeah,
of the original pictures with the 6 light or
sure.
6/6
It's here on the
version,
screen, Angus.
like that.
Oh, there it is.
This is what we showed in the first meeting. We showed you the 2/2 options and the 6/6 options. And at the time, there was really not consensus that 6/6 was more appropriate. It felt kind of busy and made it feel like more glazing compared to the 2/2 here where we are now, where it allows the windows to sort of recede quite a bit more.
So I think that on that front dormer, the 6 light and the 6/6 windows make a lot of sense where there's a ton of fenestration on the rear. Maybe there could be a version where there's just the windows that are the 6/6, but the doors don't have so many divided lights. I think
Yeah.
that's where it gets busy, is where there's just a lot of glazing.
So is the division of the lights something that could be peeled off as something to be reviewed later by staff?
Can you show us the south elevation with the 6 windows with the
Yes.
6/6? Thank you. Oh, wow, yeah, that is busy.
Yeah, it gets a little busy, right? And the 2/2s, and what we did here for comparison, where they are they're 6-panel French doors, felt a lot more appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually like the 2/2s simpler. but-
Yeah, it's a lot simpler, right?
Which version, what, do you have 2/2s in this version here? No, my laptop's not working.
Yes,
So-
all the double hung windows are
Yeah,
2/2s in this version.
Okay.
Wait.
So we have the chimney problem though.
I was gonna say, I think the main concerns, Michael, that could move this to the finish line is make the chimneys narrower where possible.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna speak personally. The 2/2 seems simpler to me there, and they're gray, which is great. The
Yep.
trim is natural to weather. And then just tighten that dormer up a little bit.
So-
And you would have,
So could those two
What
conditions be
about,
reviewed at the staff level? The tightening up of the dormer and the narrowing up of both chimneys? That's fine.
I would offer to do an exhibit A, but I feel like the chimney, that's more design, like something that you would bring forth. I could do an exhibit A of the dormer, but I do think that in this setting with the few beach cottages that are left, and the tradition of windows out there historically would have been smaller lights, like the 6 light sash in the dormer and 6/6 down below.
We're at
So
an impasse.
I think it's a more of a revision thing.
So, I still have a couple of questions for my board members, and for you, Michael. The material of the chimney is parged and
Yep.
white or gray?
Gray, not white. It's gray
It's
parched.
gray. And were you, would you be able to do some corbelling on the top or to make that a little softer or?
Yeah, we could definitely look at an alternate chimney cap. It just feels a shame to come back in front of the board up.
Okay, I just
think a
wanted to
fourth
get a
time.
consensus on
Yep.
the chimney where we were on that.
I would just, you guys are having trouble seeing this, but if you can look at the pictures, I'll give you my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
The windows are either 2/2 right now, no panes. 2/2, 1 6/6, 1 2/1. They're simpler windows, so that's my pitch for letting them stay simple.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a 2/2 person, but Angus,
Oh, I'm just looking at the traditional 1-story shacks that are still existing next to it, but were predated, the newer buildings that are exhibited here.
Yeah.
The more traditional ones all have 6/6.
Yeah.
All right, well, I would love to move this along. I mean, I think having him
make a
come
motion,
back with,
Val.
but do you want to do an exhibit A?
I could do an exhibit A, but would you, through the chair, Michael, would you be amenable to a hybrid version where you keep the 6 light doors in the back, but the fenestration goes back to the six light?
Yeah, I think that our client would be open to it. I can't like 100% confirm that here, but yes, I think that a hybrid option that blends the most appropriate fenestration in a way that's cohesive across, they'd be open to it. So yes.
So, I mean, that would, if to move this forward, I could do an exhibit A to that effect. Now,
Yep.
the way I would draw this is the dormer on the north dormer with the cheeks coming into the windows. I see that there's a landing on the 2nd floor, so it would need to shift over so that the cheek is in line with your
Yeah, we would have
landing.
to make some plan adjustments to make that work. That's correct.
But
I think we could
if
probably
that's amenable, that's what I can draw.
yeah, I think we would accept that. And if we really had an issue with it that didn't work out, we'd come back. So
There you go.
Okay, so what's the motion here?
The motion is to approve with the dormer being reduced in size so that the cheeks come up to the side casings of the windows, except it's
Mhm.
going to scoot over to facilitate the stair. And the windows go to 6 light and the dormer.
6/6.
Those would be 6 light in the dormer.
yeah, some of the others would probably have to go 6 light on the front of the house too, Angus, right? So would you be open to that?
Like that.
Only on the front? I'm confused.
I would imagine that this would be throughout, except for the French doors, and they wouldn't be like 20 lights. They would be the 6 light that they're proposed in the existing, the latest proposal.
Like that?
So is
Michael,
it clean,
can
is
you
it
flip back to the back view, the south view?
of this version, right?
Yeah, like that. So the French doors would be like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the lights would.
And then the
like the
windows
other
would be
one.
6/6.
Yeah. So would it be cleaner for us to work through this and submit through staff than it would be to do an exhibit A, or is that's the easier process here?
Somebody.
Need the exhibit A to show the staff.
I think.
We could
I-
submit the exhibit A.
I'm not sure, somebody from staff help out with this, but, exhibit As are usually done here at the table and then moved on. So,
Yeah. Okay. So let's do the exhibit A and then we will submit revised elevations that comply with it. That sounds great.
and then, yeah, and then that would also include the chimney getting narrower at the top. So there would be a corbel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good.
And approved through staff, the exhibit A.
Right, and then we can just send you the copy of it if you want to look it over too,
Okay.
with that they submit, just to verify if it doesn't match.
Woo, all right.
Madam
I'm going to be
Chair,
drawing the rest of the night.
I didn't
That's
think
my
there-
motion.
I didn't think there was consensus for 6/6. I thought,
Well, we don't have to vote for it.
No, that's just what I'm
okay.
putting
I
forth.
gotcha.
All right, on Angus's motion, Connie,
No,
Val,
No.
okay. Gosh. Carrie?
I'm good with all of his suggestions,
Oh my gosh,
except
me too.
changing him to 6/6. I just think it looks so busy. I'd rather keep it simple with the 2/2.
Okay, well, let's vote it down then and we can have
Okay.
another one.
Okay.
Carrie,
Can I,
Yep,
I
let's
try
do
and
that.
amend it?
okay,
Let's do it.
hold on, Carrie, we're gonna amend it
Just the dormers going six light
on the north.
On the
on the
front.
north?
Okay.
All right, we've got one. Carrie, did you hear that?
I did, and I'm a yay.
Okay, I'm a
Okay.
yay too. Okay, so let me just make sure we got this. Connie,
yeah,
Val,
Yay.
Carrie,
Yay.
I'm an I, and
Yay.
Angus on your, and
Yes.
yay, yay. Okay, we got consensus
Yeah, right.
For exhibit A.
per exhibit A.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
And
Have a great
thank
night.
you, Abby. So everybody, 30-minute warning,
yeah.
Okay, let's move
right.
it.
as Stephen would say, the lightning round. Do we have somebody?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have Doug Mills. Doug, did you
Doug.
want to screen share?
Yes, I will. Thank
Okay,
you.
great.
By the way, folks, when you get that thing where you can try hitting the refresh, because it
Oh.
got it, the little refresh, the little
Yeah.
circle thing, do that and it just pops right up. Well,
Oh,
I did it
wow.
once and it did it. So just
Yeah, mine
FYI.
finally came on, but-
Sorry, Doug. Okay, so
problem.
Doug, your board on Six Coffin is going to be myself, Abby, Val, Angus, and Connie. Okay?
Okay.
All right, let's roll.
Okay, so this is 6 Coffin Street. I forget how long ago we submitted, but it's been a little bit. So just to refresh your memory, the existing building is the antique shop at the corner of Coffin Street and Washington Street. We are proposing a dwelling to go on the back of this lot, so it will front on Coffin Street. So you can see the site plan here. I'll just zoom in a little bit so you can kind of see the detail. So tight lot. We are in the flood zone, so we are required to be at elevation 11 for the first floor. Just to show you a little context, this is the existing structure with the Aldridge antique shop. This is the backside. And then again, we're going to put the dwelling in this back corner here. So the concern last time was that we were proposing something that was a little too formal, and the request was to make it much less formal. So we've done that to kind of go along with the rest of the buildings that are on the street, on Coffin Street. And as you can see here, there's sort of a mishmash of different styles on the street, including the back end of the lobster trap. So what we did was we stripped away all the Greek revival details that we had shown previously, and made it a much more simple structure. 6/6 windows. We got rid of the fan light altogether by making this a hip roof. Again, reduced all the trim, got rid of the clapboards in favor of shingles. And that goes all the way around. So the other ask was that we do a streetscape. So what we did was we showed the existing side of the building that's existing and our proposed building. So you can see the height comparison there. Just to remind you that so elevation 11 is shown here. So we have to be at elevation 11 on the first floor, whereas the existing is at 6'9". So it's a substantial step up, just required by the flood zone. And just for reference, the structure that we're proposing from that 11-foot mark is only 24 foot 1 inches tall. The existing structure is 24 foot 9 inches tall. So it's 8 inches taller than what we're proposing. And just to sort of illustrate that, we've shown on the bottom of this page our proposed structure and then the structures on either side if they had to comply with the same flood elevation. So you can see that in that case, the existing structure would be taller in real life than what we're proposing. And with that, I will take your comments.
Okay, thanks, Doug. Holly, why don't we hear from you?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is associated with a non-contributing infill commercial building right in front. Appreciate the elevation certificate that we received. This is actually an AE9 zone, flood zone. Appreciate the change to simplify from a Greek revival. However, staff does not agree with the proposed hipped roof structure. There are no hipped roofs within the neighborhood context. It should be a simple gable form with a shorter stature as much as possible. At 29 feet 2 inches, it towers over the adjacent neighbors, which are simple one-story cottages, besides the one that's in the front. Push the second floor window head casings into the eave and reduce the floor heights. The board requested a streetscape thank you. However, showing adjacent dwelling elevated to current standards is not appropriate, as that is misrepresentation of the future conditions. Specifically, contributing structures can be exempt from the full FEMA height requirement. Therefore, only the streetscape as proposed is relevant to the review of this dwelling. I had also a question about the windows that are being proposed. Obviously, they have to meet energy compliance, so SDL. This is within the OHD, so I would recommend to have that identified. It's not indicated on the plans that I could find or the COA. The only design change from November to now is changing the roof style and its simplified sheathing. The proposal should be reduced further in height and scale. And I respectfully request a foundation plan as well. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Holly. And let's see, anybody else want to speak on this before it goes to the board? All right, so again, myself, Abby, Val, Angus, Connie.
I can go.
Thanks, Abby.
I don't have a lot to say, but
Okay.
I agree with Holly's about the hip roof. I don't think it's working here. I'd much rather just see a simple federal style building. And I don't quite understand the west elevation, why it's so chopped up and why there's a recessed door at 2 doors. I think the somehow on the classical revival, it worked a little bit better where you had different materials and somehow that's not working for me at that west elevation. But those are my thoughts. Thanks.
Thank you, Abby. Who's next?
I can go.
Go ahead, Connie.
So I appreciate the simplification, but I just feel this structure is too massive. It's really going from lot line to lot line and it's not a big, I mean, square foot. It's not very big, but I just think that it just overwhelms this small lot. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
That's it, Connie?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Who's next?
I can go.
Thanks, Angus.
So I agree with what's been said. It feels vertical, and there isn't enough additive massing, and the hip roof is just, I'm not saying it's a non-starter for the main part, but for the additive massing, I'm sorry, I think the main mast needs to remain a gable, and maybe the additive massing could be the hip, but it feels there's too much two-story space. There isn't enough additive massing. Thank you.
Thanks, Angus. Is it you, Val? Last
Yeah.
person? You ready?
Okay, so for me, I agree with the simplification. I do appreciate that. A hip roof is sort of a disconnect, yes. But more of my concern is where the parking is for this house is the side, the east side, which is the least
Yep.
of anything. There's no door, there's very few windows, they are lined up anywhere. I'd like to see that side because I think that's the side people are gonna see because of the parking. Be more of an entrance to the home. And, yeah, that French door facing west, which is, no, we won't see that. Never mind. That's the one facing the yard. It more is about addressing how this house works and how to get into it. You park on one side and you go all the way around to get in, and I think that is a little bit funky. That's it, yeah.
Okay. So Doug, I agree, like the overarching issue here is the massiveness of this building. You're in a context where, to Holly's point earlier, all the buildings right now that surround this are low. And, maybe someday one or two of them will, come all the way up, but like that's a future event that we can't really rely on. So in the meantime, this is going to be taller than everything else, including the very wonderful Greek revival that Janice Aldridge is in. The only other thing I'm going to add is sort of along the lines of what Val was talking about, which is there's this wall of shingle with not a heck of a lot of fenestration, and that's theoretically, well, I guess this side and the side that faces Coffin will be the two most visible sides. So this really needs some order to it and some charm of some kind. And a little thought should be given to the fenestration, like on the west elevation, you've got these little 4 light windows that bear no relation to the windows and door below them, etc. Anyway, sounds like we're in for some revisions. Does somebody want to make that motion?
So moved.
All right. Are we all at the table again? Okay. All those in favor of Abby's motion, say aye.
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 Okay, thank you,
All
Douglas.
right, thank you.
All right, next, St. Paul's. Do we have Matt around?
We do, Mr. Chair, and I just
Where is he?
promoted him to panelist. He's in Zoom land.
Ooh,
Fancy.
fancy.
Matt, did you want a screen share?
Is he muted?
I'm trying to unmute him.
How's that?
Yeah, that's good. We can hear you.
Perfect.
Great. Okay, so with your permission, Mr. Chair, I can get started.
Yes, please.
Okay. So this application was before you a few weeks ago for we have a total of 5 pieces of mechanical equipment. 4 are condensers for AC and mostly AC. The 5th is actually it's switchgear that's required by National Grid, and so we had initially concentrated all of them towards the front of the property and proposed to screen them. And so some of the feedback we got was like, look, it's too big. To see if there's any alternatives that you can look at. And so we've been able to do that. The one thing I did want to point out is that I'm going to zoom in here. Hopefully this works. The switch gear
really does have to go right here. I don't know if you can see my cursor. That is mandated by National Grid. Like there's just, I don't know, we've all dealt with National Grid and they're like, look, this is where it needs to go. So that's what's indicated here. Now, coincidentally, one of the suggestions was to move the enclosure behind the St. Paul's sign. And so where this switchgear is here, we put a second condenser next to it. And so basically we've been able to put the 2 units here, minimize it down to 2 units as opposed to 5, hide it, if you will, behind the existing signage, and then put it behind a 4-foot privet hedge. We're also proposing to put a privet hedge to screen the parking, although it's not screened now, but we thought that would be smart because there would be like a consistent line of privet and it would make sense and really just disappear. The remaining units, and actually it's 2, it's not 3. The remaining 2 units, we pushed them to this side of the building, further away from the street. That does work for us. So we've included some sections to show you what this would look like. Again, it's a type 2 picket fence with screening in front of it. So with that, look forward to comments from the board, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Matt, Holly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate the changes. The new privet should match the existing privet height at installation would be my recommendation, as well as for the vegetation to be maintained in perpetuity. And then just a clarification, if the tree that's shown existing, that's actually on site, if that will be relocated and reused somewhere else on site. That's it, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Great. Holly, thank you. Who wants to begin?
I will.
All right. Val.
So I'm, of course, love to see this someplace else, but my request is, Matt, it's great to have the privet where you're showing it, but for me, I would want to see it on the north side too, because when people are going up those stairs to the church, they're going to look over and see all this stuff. So I think it's important to screen from that vista as well. So you know what I mean? Like just
We
move
could do
the
that.
box down a little bit and put.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if through you, Mr. Chair, I did scroll down just to show you really quickly this is the document that was provided to us from National Grid. And so we've asked like, hey, is there any way to move it? They're like, no. But to your point, Val, there is enough room to put the privet in front of it right up. So it'll basically be the brick walkway, privet, and then the fence. So I think I could still screen it.
Putting the privet there?
There's room.
Okay, good.
Matt was saying there's room. You can see there's like just
Yeah,
enough
yeah.
room to squeak in a privet there.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Thanks, Val. Next,
I can go.
Abby.
So you said you were going to put it behind the sign, but you put it closer to the church.
Yeah. So through you, Mr. Chair. So Abby, you can see this is the sign, the existing sign location. And so this HVAC unit here is behind it. I can't really move that switch gear. So it in the previous iteration, it was centered in this clearing, if you will. So for all intents and purposes, this thing has been moved behind the sign. This section where the switch gear is does project, beyond the sign. And even if I could center, I could center it, you'd still be seeing portions of this piece. But so that's what I meant by it sitting behind it.
Could it get flipped 90 degrees and go the other way?
Yeah. I mean,
make
yeah,
it-
I could
and then-
do 2 side by side. I could do that.
My thought is just to keep it away from the historic structure as much as possible because it's a historic building. So I'd like to see them move further away from the building and maybe go perpendicular. And then the one that's back, could we go back to the one that's further back? The other thing you
Sure.
have to put there.
Yep. Hold on one sec.
That's
And I
right.
just indicated through you, Mr. Chair, this is what you're describing, Abby, that it kind of telescopes back. Correct? On the screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
I mean, because the switch gear wouldn't move, but the other condenser would.
Let me
Yeah,
just go back.
I think you guys are speaking a slightly different language. I think Abby wanted to get this switch box thing further away from the building. But Matt, you're saying that they won't allow you to do that.
They really won't allow us to move it at all. Like, so this switch gear, this piece right here, as I scroll over to it. So where it says electrical 1,
Yeah.
that is where they're saying that has to go. Now to Abby's suggestion, I could take this HVAC unit and move it back here. So keep, have the fencing extend down like this and then move this other condenser here.
Maybe that's better.
I
because
think
that
it makes
way
sense
from the
actually, because
street-
you're only seeing the short side of it and it's
Well,
further
yeah,
away.
that's a nice idea. I'd like to hear what other people say. But then isn't there another
Yes.
electrical box further
Over
back?
there.
Yep.
Could we-
Let me get to that. Give me 1 second. Of course, my computer's going to geek out. on
Patched
here.
onto the building.
It's over here.
Yeah, there it is. Whoops. Yeah. So that's unfortunate. And is that a board fence or what is that?
It's a type 2 picket. So it's natural cedar. It's got a cedar cap. It's got 4x4 posts. So it's I think it's so far back from the road, it's not going to be a predominant piece of the landscape. And I think the fencing will clearly screen the HVAC units. And they are the suitcase style units. Those are selected intentionally to have the slimmest profile. And they have the proper clearances around them. But it works out because it goes right up to the parking.
Matt, does that project next to the building, does that drop down to like the one in the front?
Does the
You know
project
how you
is-
have it drop down?
Oh yeah. I mean, I only dropped it down about 9 inches or somewhere between 9 inches and a foot, only because anytime that probably 10 years ago, we tried to drop them down like 2 feet. And even though we had the proper clearances, the equipment didn't perform well. I just think it wasn't enough air circulation. So we've sunk them as much as possible without compromising their efficiency. And I can show you that section. It's actually about 10 inches. You can see here.
Yeah, that was my
question. You all set?
Yeah.
Okay, so then that leaves Angus and Connie.
I can go. So I thought one thing that we were going to explore was there was an option. It wasn't preferable, but there was an option of putting this at the other end of the parking lot that we were just looking at. And the downside was a parking space. But for me, I feel like because of the significance of this structure and the prominence of this spot that is proposed for mechanicals, which would normally on any other structure would be resorted to the back of the structure. I think that option has to be exhausted. And it looks like that. So through the chair, the question of the applicant is, Matt, is that red line that goes pretty parallel with the building? Does the electrical equipment need to be on that red line? Is that the deal?
Yeah, exactly. And we submitted this is the document that was provided to us by National Grid, and they are, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's their protocols or whatnot, but you can see that it falls right on, like directly on the property line. And this, yeah.
Thank you for that, Matt. So I would want to exhaust that option because I feel like this front corner has got to be like the very last, like everything else is impossible to put mechanicals up there at the front of the church. Thank you.
Angus, thank you. Connie.
I would be fine with either option, with extending the hedge or putting them back to back. If, nothing else can be arranged. I and I don't know, possible, and I don't know, maybe some plantings around that board fence around the units in the side of the church. Thank you.
Thanks,
Connie.
Connie.
Matt Grid and ask them for alternative
I don't think they like us.
Have you ever called them to try and get your?
What's wrong with way up near
They
the
just
park?
shut my power off. They're kind of difficult to deal with. Connie, although I liked your idea of the vegetation, it's going to actually push into the parking lot, given, this plan. I guess it sounds like the consensus view is we'd like to see if there's any alternatives, and we can imagine that there would be for those front two, accepting the fact that we're leaving that one where it is, and what can happen to the other one so that it's kind of subordinate and move further away from the street. Would that be
Yeah, that's an
accurate?
idea.
So, Matt, can you just do like a little, sketch alternative?
Sure.
Oh, you're doing it right now?
Yeah. This is what I was going to suggest is, again, the switchgear, I hate to say like it can't be moved, but that's
Right.
really what we've gotten the feedback that this is where it's going, which was not, we thought there was going to be a little bit more latitude there, and there's just not. So, but to your point with this other HVAC unit, we could slide it into this area, or alternatively, we could try to move it with the other two. I do believe that because of the distribution of the mini splits, that they were hoping to put this HVAC unit here. It's obviously a huge challenge, adding air conditioning to this building, but it's long overdue. And but anyway, so this would be the alternative. I just drew it in red to indicate, essentially rotating that enclosure 90 degrees. And I think it's it also, the other thing too, is it allows us to put the vegetation in the areas that Val had suggested. So it should be really fully screened.
And then all this goes away. Yeah. Is it, how's everyone feeling about that?
Better.
Better enough that we could do it in Exhibit A, or what do we think? Well, I mean, I'm just saying, is this sort of thing that we can approve here now?
Well, I'm just looking at it in to scale with some, the front of that car, and I mean, it's not like a 5x7 bathroom. It's bigger than that, right? It's like,
It's about it's probably going to be so give me 1 second, 3, 3, 6, probably gonna be 6'4" by 10 foot. So 6 wide. It actually might be 11, like 6 wide by 11. And again, it'll be a type 2 picket fence surrounded by a privet. So the goal is, and just so you know too, I mean, everybody that is involved with St. Paul's, they take the building seriously, and they want something that's going to be as attractive as possible and as discreet as possible, while obviously maintaining what National Grid is requiring and cooling the building. But so 6 by 10, I think, Abby, through you, Mr. Chair.
What do we want to do with this?
Can I just ask a question before
Yeah.
that goes to?
Yeah.
So Matt, is that back spot an option?
For the second condenser?
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, no, for this whole arrangement.
No, the switch gear, no.
The
I was
switch
gonna
gear
say, switch
can
gear is
only be
no-
in this spot on the red line.
Correct.
So it can't be further to the left or right on that red line. It has to be specifically that spot.
Yes, and this is why this document is from National Grid, and this essentially they're like, this is where it's going.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you just need to sign.
I don't know. It's just,
If I could also point
No.
out too, through you, Mr. Chair, there's been multiple other instances where um, converters have been required to be put in the most, like the worst possible places. I remember that theater that was done near the Whaling Museum, 11th hour, National Grid's like, this has got to go here. And they did a beautiful job of screening it, but it was a significantly larger piece of equipment. I think it was like 3.5 by 3.5. And I mean, none of us really noticed it today. The good news I feel about this switch gear is that it is, I think it's like 18 by, it's 18 by 3. So it's fairly small. So out of all the pieces of equipment that have to go, and this is another spec of the actual unit.
Okay,
Thank you for that, Pat.
all right. So listen, most of the rest of the applications are mats, and theoretically, we're breaking at 7, but I don't think we are. What are we doing with this?
I'm not voting on it. I'm not going to be in favor of it.
So
Okay.
what I could suggest, Mr. Chair, is I think the really only option would be to see if we can move this second condenser back towards where the other two are located, so that the only piece of equipment is the switch gear, which again is just not movable.
All
So
right.
we can
Are people
just,
generally in favor of that concept? Getting the one piece of equipment that can move back with the other two? We should definitely give Matt some guidance here. I think it should be up to the parishioners. See.
if you want,
I personally would rather see this where it is than right against the building.
I agree.
So,
And I was liking the whole sort of one behind the other scenario, all surrounded with
Yeah.
rivet. It just seemed less intrusive on Fair Street to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Is somebody
I
bold
will.
and brave enough to
I
redo
will.
Matt's Exhibit A?
I will say approve per Exhibit A as suggested by Matt. In his little Exhibit A,
Right.
and that's my motion.
Okay. So all those in favor of Val's motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any
I'm an
opposed? And one opposed, so 4 in favor, 1 opposed. Okay, so shall we jump quickly to,
Let's try to, yes.
yeah, we'll try and knock a few more of these off. And Val, you're gonna be doing the Exhibit A, so
Okay.
Carrie, can I, oh, actually, I'm not sure that I can,
Why?
because she's not listed as an alternate.
Oh, that's all right. I can do an Exhibit A and do this too.
Okay, all right.
Because I've
So
already
next
looked at
up,
everything ahead
we
of
have the
time.
chimney on 19 North Water, myself, Abby, Val, Angus, Connie, same board. Matt, tell us what you got.
thank you, Mr. Chair. So I think the request was to minimize the size and scale of the chimney as much as possible. So we've done that. We've narrowed it. We've lowered it. We also checked with the landscape architect, and there is enough space where we can provide screening in front of the actual chimney itself, which I know is another suggestion and or question. So we should be able to get some screening on it. I'd also just point out that this is the back of the properties. The planning board special permit, there's no curb cuts that are allowed on White Elephant Way or C Street for that matter. All the properties are accessed by a private driveway. It's pretty narrow, but my point is I think that the visibility on this chimney is going to be really small. And even if you did see it, I don't think it's terrible. That's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Did you have anything on this, Holly?
I did, Mr. Chair. Just that, thank you. I appreciate the revisions. And that the commission did sought clarification on the visibility. Do know that the other buildings will be built, as Matt had just said, but they're not built yet. So the visibility from C Street is something that is evident. Eventually, it will be screened by 2 or more homes, but until then, it will be visible. And contrary to building with Nantucket in mind, which should be inboard. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. board members. It is the same board that we just had.
I'll go.
Oh, it's fine.
I'll go.
Okay, Val. go
That,
ahead.
I drove around over there today too, and, well, maybe it's anomalous with this little subdivision that's gone in there, that's a private back way. I really don't think you're gonna pick up on this. Once they put the hardscaping in, the fences and the hedges and all that other stuff, like they did for the ones that are already there, I think you'll just see the top part of it.
Okay, thank you. Who's next?
I can go.
Connie.
I'm okay with this. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next.
Is that far enough off the roof? It looks kind of stout.
It only needs to be 2 feet off of the ridge, I think, maybe 3. It's, you dropped the height, didn't you, Matt?
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we minimized it to the minimum diameter and then also copied the corbelling of the existing approved chimney.
Mhm.
Oh, we also dropped the shoulders too. I apologize for not mentioning that. That was
Okay.
something that someone would, I think it was
Yeah,
you.
that was good.
I had a question.
Angus.
Yeah, so somebody mentioned a fence that will be in front of this. Is that right? Or is this just going to be visible from that private way?
There's the parking falls right in front of it, but we did coordinate with the landscape architect. They have a really fairly detailed landscape plan, and there is enough room for plantings in front of it, but not a fence.
So like a climbing hydrangea or something that can grow in front of it on it or something.
Correct. I don't
Yeah.
know exactly what species she has specified, but there is a planting bed in front of it.
I think something that softens it would be beneficial. And I think the main place that you would see it without being on private road would be C Street, which, you know, they're going to be future buildings, but until the buildings go in, I think the knowing that there's some sort of planting or trellis or something in front of it would soften it. Thanks.
Thank you, Angus. Abby, do you want to conclude?
Well, I'd rather see it inside, but it sounds like we're not going to see it very much.
All right, so I'm okay with this too, but I would like to put in the proviso or the condition that we have some like climbing hydrangea or something on it. That would take some of the curse off of it.
We can do that.
Somebody want to make a motion for us?
Sure. Motion to approve with some sort of climbing vegetation to mitigate the impact of the chimney that you may see.
Very good. Once again, everyone's here, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Great.
Thank you.
Right, so let's see, 17 North Water Edition. And this is Carrie, are you still there? Has Carrie gone?
No,
off
I'm
to
here.
bed?
I'm here.
Oh, you're there, okay, yeah. Because you're on this one.
Okay.
Okay, with your permission, Mr.
Myself,
Chair.
Abby, Val, Angus, Carrie, go.
Thank you.
Abby.
So this you've seen once before. This is an addition to 17 North Water. If you look at the site plan, you can see that the area of the addition is highlighted in blue. There's a small porch off the back of that. There is an easement, which I'm going to zoom in. You can see that we can't, even though the use easement, we can't really put any structures over that rear line. If you see, there's also an angled property line, so the building fortuitously the property line and setback require this kind of stepped back rear L, if you will. So I think most of the comments focused on the dormer, which I'll review. The other thing that's changed between the last meeting was the inclusion of an accessible ramp. And doing our code analysis as we're kind of working through the design process, we need to provide accessibility to the first floor only. And we looked at all different options, and this to me is probably the cleanest. Now, this does not show any landscaping. I also think that there's probably some opportunities to
minimize like the post sizes to like 4x4s. But this ramp is something you haven't seen before, but it is something that will be required for the building. And again, I think that with landscaping, we can actually, make some modifications so it does disappear. I'm going to scroll down very quickly and we can review the changes. So north elevation, again, you can see this rear section is the new addition. We worked pretty hard to actually have a drop in the height so that there's a reduction in massing as you work towards the back of the property. A lot of the discussion focused on these dormers. There are existing dormers on the building. In the previous iteration, we had the face of the dormer flush or pretty close to flush with the wall below it. We are super tight on that third floor. There are third floor units up there, and we're working to make them to be compliant. And so our solution was to, I believe, shift the dormer face back slightly, but then also extend the eaves so that we do get the perception that there is about a 1 foot setback from the drip line to the face of the dormer. The other change that we made was to the rear porch detailing. The original porch that's there now has these really beautiful little brackets, this post detail. And so we basically took all the existing details of this rear porch and copied them. We also changed it from a hip to a shed, which was another recommendation from the board. I think that is everything, Mr. Chair. So I look forward to your comments. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. He's on his own time now, with the exception of Mirka. Holly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So for the record, this is the circa 1812 Easton House. Since this has been resubmitted, I just want to mention, and Matt didn't, I had requested the historic determination because this is within our Resilient Nantucket Design Guidelines. It's in FEMA flood AE8. We did receive the elevation certificate. Thanks, Matt. This is for a 420 square foot addition on the rear. Appreciate the elevation certificate seems to be for the existing structure only and doesn't take into account the proposed addition. What is the proposed basement plan look like? That should be something we should see. It wasn't included. The rear addition should show vents within the 4 foot tall poured concrete, so water can flow, with this being in the FEMA flood. Typically, that's also shown with the elevation certificate. Appreciate that it will look like CMU blocks to mimic the existing foundation, and color should match material. The historic determination. Now, I wanted to mention, not only is this relevant for our the Resilient Nantucket, because this is a contributing historic structure and you don't have to be the full FEMA compliance, it also is allowed for contributing structures that don't, because they don't have to meet the substantial compliance section of the building code. And when I say that, that means for all codes. I know life safety is one that you cannot go against. However, there are other codes that you can. So I just wanted to emphasize that to the board and the applicant. Appreciate the revision to the rear porch. Great with that roof and incorporating what is historically there, and retaining that character defining feature. Curious as to why the stairs are not as they currently exist, why they're not outbound versus inbound. This is a atypical feature. When we have porches within the OHD, they're normally the steps go out, not in. So that would be something that I would just want to know more information on. With the inclusion of the ADA ramp on the side of the historic main block, Matt, you probably knew I was going to mention this.
Oh, yeah.
Want to know if this could be located in any other location. I know the site's tight, but this is a permanent feature, whereas most ADA ramps that the commission sees on a historic structure within the OHD are temporary in nature. You all see it for elderly that, need it for a few years, what have you. This is a full-blown ADA compliant commercial size. This is atypical. And I don't feel this is appropriate. If there's any way to look at that, that would be great. Also, the trim posts should match the historic structure. I didn't see that indicated. And again, this ramp I was curious if this was not HDC's purview, but want to know if this was included within the planning board's MCD approval. The TDL windows indicated on the application, yet SDL Marvin Wood was proposed. Just wanted to mention if this is something that the board is okay with. I know you all have approved Marvin before, but again, this is a 200-plus-year-old typical Nantucket. And then thank you for the historic determination. I just would want to clarify the foundation plan for the addition, clarify the color of the porch skirt and the new ADA ramp. And if you could relocate it to the rear, that would be great. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, could I just respond or just answer a couple of questions that Holly posed? Because I think they'll be helpful.
I think I know
Briefly.
what you're gonna say, but go ahead, Matt.
She raises some really great points. So on the porch stairs, they're inbound because of the setback. So we could maybe cheat them out a little bit, but we thought it might be a little bit more awkward. The ramp itself, one suggestion I could propose for tonight is I could omit the ramp from this application and come back with it as a separate application, because I think we can fine tune it in a way that and then in coordination with some landscaping to make it less of a visible element. Like my goal would be that this there's opportunities too that Holly's going to mention, like we can do a 3-foot wide brick 1 in 20 walkway that doesn't require a
Matt,
railing.
we get it.
Yeah.
We're
I'm all
15
for
minutes
that.
over.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so,
I'll go.
yeah, Val, go ahead.
I did go by this today as well, and if you blink or you sneeze, you see both sides of the house. You can't keep driving. It's like there's so little space in between houses on either side that looking at the elevations on the flat, I can see how it seems like, oh, look at all the stuff that's changing. But no one's ever going to see that.
Oh,
And I, in fact, went to the White Elephant, which is all blocked up, and I had to turn around and go back out. I couldn't go through, but you can't see this from anywhere. You're never going to see it.
The addition.
Any of it. I mean, you might see the
You see the
ramp, but
front,
is
but
that
yeah.
really
We see
like,
it from C Street. looking-
you know,
looking from
no, you can't.
I just went up C Street.
Come on,
and
yeah,
saw it.
okay, Val, continue.
So anyway, I just think that it's fine, given
Okay.
where it is, the context around it, and all of that.
Okay, next. Abby,
I don't have a problem with this, but
Oh.
you will be able to see it. So
okay,
unless somebody puts up another monstrous thing.
Barn.
I'm happy to go.
okay, Angus.
So I appreciate how close the other buildings are and the obstructions that they provide. But my concern is the triple window dormer on the south side. And it appears that it's flush. And it also appears that there is shingle above the windows. And my suggestion is to bring that back such that the windows end up tucking underneath that roof as drawn. Do you know what I mean, Matt?
I think we can do that.
It's so that, because I think the further it sort of gets behind that gable, the more successful it'll be from North Water Street. Thank you.
Okay, sounds like Matt can accommodate you on that. Let's see, Carrie.
I think this is appropriate.
All right. Well, Matt, are you inclined to, it sounds like the one gesture that would be a modification, if at all, would be this dormer thing that Angus just raised. Are you okay doing that?
Yeah, I can definitely
All right,
either
let's
drop
just
the
wrap
plate.
that into the approval then, okay?
Okay.
All right. Angus, would you care to make a
So
motion?
the motion is to approve as submitted, minus the ramp, which will come back at a later time. And to move the face of the south facing dormer with the 3 windows in it back to the point that the head casing butts up into the roof eave.
Okay, and could you make that like an exhibit A or something? You know,
Sure.
X out the ramp and just,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so Angus's motion is to approve per Exhibit A. We're gonna do a roll call because of Carrie, but so Carrie,
Aye.
thank you, Val,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
and I'm in favor.
And
Okay,
thank you, Mr. Chair.
Matthew,
I can
let's-
hold, that last one. I feel like you've
Oh,
been more
you're
than
kidding.
generous.
Now, so there's a gentleman in the room. Are you here for the last application? What?
Okay.
There you go. So is Mirka here? She is, okay.
I'm gonna jump off.
All right, thanks, Matt.
Thanks,
Thank you
Matt.
for,
Giving us
thank
a
you for
little
your
break.
generosity. Appreciate it. Bye.
Mirka?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Did you want a screen share?
Oh, if I may, that would be great.
Yeah, I tried
Yeah,
to.
all right, let's see. Myself, Abby, Val, Angus, Carrie.
I'm promoting you to panelist. You're not accepting. Okay. Okay, whenever you're ready, Mirka.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Beautiful, thank you. And let me just make sure I share the screen. And there you are. And I meant to be in person, but I just didn't know if you guys will go, and I didn't want to force you, but I'm happy you did find some extra energy for me. So this application is for the vehicular gate, which was in front of you a few weeks back. We adjusted the color. That was my mistake. We will be matching the trim of the house, or the preferable, which would be dark charcoal gray, or if it can be natural to weather. The condition you were asking was to move the gate back offset from the property line because it's opening outside since due to grading. So we pushed the gate 6 feet back on the edge of the planting and parking, also illustrating the vegetation which would be hugging the post from each side. Again, I just want to bring the inspiration for this gate is this same application, the gate sitting within the vegetation on one of the properties on Monomoy at the beginning. I think it's a Monomoy 3 or 7. And that's where I will, I guess.
Okay, so Mirka, all you did was push it back 5 feet, correct?
Yes, push 5 feet and change the color to match the trim of the house, charcoal gray.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Board members.
I can go.
Yeah.
I think you also put vegetation on either side, so it sort of grounds it.
That's correct.
Yeah, so I'm good with the changes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Who's next?
Was natural to weather an option?
It would be the option if that's preferable. I just thought since in Monomoy and there's a half of the gate are painted, I thought and it's a new build, so I thought it could be nice addition to paint it. But natural to weather is appropriate if that would be majority of the preference.
It's a shell driveway?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I think the natural makes more sense to me simply because you said it's like a charcoal gray trim.
That's correct. Yeah, it's a
seems
darker
quite
gray.
dark against the shell.
That's harsh.
Yeah, it seems dark against the shell, that's all.
Yeah. Agree. So is natural to weather on the table now, Mirka,
Of course, anything to
to make us happy?
make you happy
All right.
and make you go home.
I'll make that.
Well, I have a
Roll.
question. Does the granite post have to be so tall?
No, I
It
just
seems like a lot of the ones when I went out to look today, they had tall on the edges and then they kind of swooped down and they were lower in the middle. And this is like up when you're on the road, it goes up. So anything to just sort of make it more mitigated would be great. The gate itself is fine. It's simple, thank you. Natural to weather is awesome. That was just a question. Thanks.
Mirka?
Yeah, the post can be lowered, of course. I just, again, wanted to make sure the number is visible and just give a little bit of the presence.
I'll come out and I'll trim the hedge around the number.
You're 7 feet now.
Yeah, so why don't we, let's see, and the gate itself is 5.5. So, want to knock like 6 to 8 inches off of it? You okay with that, Mirka?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
let's go then. Does anybody else have anything else to contribute to this?
Oh,
Because it sounds like what we got is natural to weather gate, knocking the post down by 8 inches. And that, I think, was it.
so is this still a situation where it's really steep, the gates swing out and they're floating?
That was the question last time. Can you respond to that, Mirka?
Yes, it is. But since we moved the gate backwards, closer to the parking, that's where actually the driveways start to be more leveled. So it's still a little bit of the change, but it's not as it would be visible at the edge of the apron. So it might be more like 6 or so inches. So it won't be as pronounced as it would be before. And by sliding it backwards, it's kind of mitigates.
So can that be part of a motion, is that the gate, the gate isn't higher than 6 inches off the ground?
Did you hear that?
That's
Mirka?
okay. Yes, absolutely. We can keep it as low
All
as
right.
to the ground. So
Okay,
once
so
it's
we got 3
open,
conditions now. And whoever can remember all 3 conditions gets to write it up. All right.
I'll do it.
Okay, well, now, so here's the motion. The motion is to approve this with the following conditions. 1, natural to weather. 2, the granite posts come down 8 inches. And 3, that when the gates are open, they won't be any more, the bottom won't be any more than 6 inches above grade. Those are the conditions. Can that be somebody's motion?
So moved.
Okay, that's Abby's motion. On that motion, Angus,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
and I'm in favor. Okay.
thank you very much.
So somebody's writing that up. All right, now, do we have minutes, kids? Thanks.
do.
Hey, I want to thank you all for hanging in there. All right, so minutes of the February 10th and 17th.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, this
Val.
will be Connie. She's in the room. All those in favor of Val's motion?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain or anything? Okay, so that's 5 in favor. And the next one,
The John McLaughlin.
yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
7:25.
Okay, John McLaughlin has made a motion to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thanks, everyone. Yeah, it was nice.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Jesus.
Just tonight, and I was like, oh, that